Did it get out of hand? Qin Ming stood there in a daze. No, he calmed his mind to sense it and discovered that the black vine had actually burrowed underground. It seemed a bit mischievous. It's able to change its form at will and is omnipresent. Truly incredible. Qin Ming quickly communicated with the black vine, urging it to grow out. In an instant, the all-encompassing black vine, like tentacles covered with black eyes, broke through the soil. All of them joyfully turned to Qin Ming. Qin Ming was also dumbfounded, realizing that this life-bound spirit plant had reached a mature state, which required an incredibly long time. The 5 entries of the leaf of space-time merely allowed it to grow a negligible amount from its juvenile stage. 500 years, and it's still just a seedling. Qin Ming couldn't help but be astonished. On the other hand, the blood pearl could accelerate the evolution of the black vine. However, this also allowed Qin Ming to step into the introductory level of the ancient wood longevity technique. But reaching the preliminary stage of the supreme wood dharma body seemed to still have a considerable way to go. Perhaps, with more blood pearls in the future, its advancement can be accelerated. Currently, Qin Ming found his affinity with plants significantly enhanced. Moreover, his comprehension of wood attribute techniques had also slightly improved. The ancient wood longevity technique is merely a method for cultivating the spirit body and does not directly enhance cultivation. Only when the spirit body is truly cultivated will the effects be remarkable. Phew! Qin Ming casually cast a basic technique, the wood arrow technique. Bang! The power of the wood arrow technique was slightly enhanced. Even my understanding of the thorn technique has increased. Qin Ming pondered for a while, planning to find an excellent growth environment for this life-bound spirit plant in the future, if possible. After all, a place rich in spiritual qi is more beneficial for the growth of spirit plants. Next, Qin Ming returned to the cultivation quiet chamber. Then, he activated the array restriction of the courtyard and entered retreat mode. He focused his thoughts on the mana crystal entry, beginning a new round of cultivation. Half a month's time flew by. Qin Ming consumed all 5 entries of the mana crystal. On this day, a strong mana fluctuation surged in the cool small residence, resonating with the heavens and earth. Even the isolation array within the courtyard could not conceal this aura. Late-stage qi cultivation. I didn't expect someone nearby to break through to the qi cultivation 7th layer. It seems to be fellow Taoist Qin's courtyard. Fellow Taoist Qin, it's actually him? As expected of a high-grade spirit plant master, his cultivation realm is advancing so quickly. Nearby neighbors all sense this aura. Many cultivators turn their gaze towards Qin Ming's courtyard. 27 years old, qi cultivation 7th layer. Qin Ming slowly opened his eyes, reveling in the surge of longevity dharma power within him, overjoyed. I bet the old folks in the family didn't expect this, huh? With just a measly 4-element pseudo-spirit root, I've reached this point. Qin Ming felt incredibly elated. The qi cultivation 7th layer signified entry into the late-stage qi cultivation. After years of slow accumulation, the mana within him, originally far exceeding that of same-tier cultivators, had now surged several times over, comparable to qi cultivation perfection. Combined with his body refining cultivation, both advanced to the later stages. The techniques Qin Ming could now unleash were increased by several folds. The qi cultivation 7th layer might just be an inner sect disciple in the sect, but within a foundation establishment clan like Qin Ming's, he was considered mid to high ranking. Should the family learn of this, they'd surely be shocked to the core, wouldn't they? Qin Ming stopped pondering, beginning to regulate his breath and stabilize his realm. On this day, Qin Ming arrived at his spirit field to tend to his spirit plants. The growth of 3 acres of 5-colored rice and 2 acres of red, silver, yellow hemp was quite promising, displaying a scene of flourishing vitality. Initially, when the red, silver, yellow hemp grew tall, it emitted a wooden fragrance that indeed attracted a batch of pests, resembling black threads like spirit insects. They clung to his spirit plants like maggots on carrion. Later, Qin Ming directly summoned the four-winged frost bees to eradicate them completely. Since Qin Ming started cultivating the ancient wood longevity technique, his affinity with plants had strengthened. His interactions with the spirit plants in the spirit field became even more harmonious. He could even faintly sense which spirit plant was in poor condition and which one needed more fertilizer. Qin Ming was carefully loosening the spiritual soil with a spiritual hoe. Boom! Enemy attack. A signal talisman representing the Spirit Feather Sect exploded instantly above the spirit field. Immediately after, a patrol team from the Spirit Feather Sect flew over Qin Ming's head. Even a Foundation establishment elder had arrived. Qin Ming's expression changed as he looked upwards towards the sky. At this moment, the vast spirit field was shrouded in dark clouds, screams echoing continuously. Run! It's a Foundation establishment demonic cultivator. Quickly, seek assistance from the sect. In the sky above the spirit field, a man shrouded in a black robe stood in the air, emitting a terrifying aura of mana. At first glance, Qin Ming was filled with dread, instinctively sensing extreme danger. Without a word, he was about to flee. But just at this moment, the clouds on the horizon, as if commanded, began to churn and gather, encircling the people within. The Spirit Feather Sect's Qi cultivation disciples, in their panic, collided with the black clouds, emitting miserable screams. They were torn to pieces by the gale from within the clouds. Tier 2 Trapping Array. Even the Foundation establishment elder from the Spirit Feather Sect had a drastic change in expression. The black-robed man casually waved his hand, sending out a black streak that slashed forth. The supporting Spirit Feather Sect disciples and Spirit Field guards were instantly cut to pieces. Stop! I didn't expect you would dare act so boldly within the territory controlled by my Spirit Feather Sect. The Spirit Feather Sect elder, seeing his disciples being slaughtered, grew anxious. He formed a spell and aimed it at the opponent. The black-robed cultivator sneered, his body surging with demonic chi, sending a black streak of magic towards the Spirit Feather Sect elder. Boom! Bang! The spells of the two Foundation establishment great cultivators clashed in mid-air with a loud explosion. However, the black streak from the black-robed cultivator broke through the Spirit Feather Sect elder's spell and continued unrelentingly. It struck the opponent's chest hard. The Foundation establishment elder instantly sprayed a stream of blood from his chest, his aura wilting. He staggered and fell to the ground. With just one strike, the victor was decided. The Spirit Feather Sect elder was gravely injured in one blow, his face horrified, stammering, "No, you're one of the 5 evil cultivators who attacked Elder Zhuang's medicine garden." Oomph. Noisy. The black-robed man extended a jade-like hand, clenching it in the air, forming a massive black blade of magic several meters long. He swung it at the fallen Foundation establishment elder. The black light flickered through the void. The massive blade of magic, swift and unexpected, cleaved him in two, from beginning to end. The Foundation establishment elder had not even had time to react. The disparity in strength was overwhelming. Qin Ming felt his heart pounding, cold sweat drenching his back. What to do? Nowhere to escape to. A few breaths later, the black-robed cultivator wiped out all Spirit Feather Sect members. He then leisurely flew towards Qin Ming. It seems this guy's target is actually me. Qin Ming took out a purple spell duplication leaf from his storage pouch, gripping it tightly in his hand. The black-robed cultivator soon arrived, stopping not far from Qin Ming. But his next action caught Qin Ming by surprise. The figure pulled down his black robe, revealing a face Qin Ming knew all too well, grinning at him. "Long time no see, fellow Taoist Qin." Qin Ming's eyes widened as waves of astonishment surged within him. Fellow Taoist Lin. No matter how he tried, he couldn't imagine that the person who effortlessly slew Foundation establishment elders like fragile chickens was none other than his old neighbor, Lin Zixiao. From a moment before that Spirit Feather Sect Foundation establishment cultivator's death, the last words he shouted revealed that the person was indeed the notorious outlaw jointly wanted by the Spirit Feather Sect and the Golden Cloud Valley. Fellow Taoist Qin, how have you been? Lin Zixiao greeted Qin Ming with a leisurely smile. Even after slaying a Foundation establishment cultivator, he remained as calm as ever. Qin Ming did not lower his guard just because the person before him was Lin Zixiao. After all, the other party had killed so many without batting an eyelid. He could strike at any moment without warning. Moreover, it was clear he came here for Qin Ming, willing to massacre for a purpose. Haha, Lin, Elder Lin. Qin Ming forced a strained smile. He was somewhat bewildered, encountering such a sudden situation for the first time, his mind racing. But Qin Ming had absolute confidence in the spell leaf in his hand, engraved with Huang Fuqi's most powerful strike. Even someone as terrifying as Lin Zixiao probably couldn't withstand it. His tense heart settled a little. Fellow Taoist Qin, your talent in spirit plants is truly exceptional. You've grown a Tier 2 spirit plant so quickly. Lin Zixiao glanced at Qin Ming's spirit field and spoke calmly. Unable to gauge the other's intentions, Qin Ming responded cautiously. Haha, just a small trick, nothing worth mentioning. It's far inferior to Elder Lin's Tier 2 array mastery. With that said, Lin Zixiao squinted, examining Qin Ming up and down, seemingly trying to discover something. A massive Foundation establishment spiritual pressure pressed towards Qin Ming. Qin Ming circulated his true Qi blood spirit, easily resisting the other's oppressive aura, maintaining a composed demeanor. Oh, Lin Zixiao, looking down at Qin Ming from above, showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. Such a strong body refining technique is truly unexpected, fellow Taoist Qin. Speaking of surprises, Elder Lin is the one who's more unexpected, isn't it? Neither Spirit Feather Sect nor Golden Cloud Valley could have imagined that the person they've been trying hard to hunt is right under their noses. Qin Ming replied while his mind turned fast. The commotion in the spirit field should have alerted Spirit Feather Sect's reinforcements heading here. He just needed to buy some time. Lin Zixiao's lips curved slightly, as if he'd seen through Qin Ming's plan. Fellow Taoist Qin, we are old acquaintances, so let's skip the useless chit-chat. I've come specifically to see you this time. Has fellow Taoist Feng visited you at the market? To be honest, if I hadn't exposed myself early to cover fellow Taoist Feng, I wouldn't have to come looking for you in such a guise. Qin Ming instinctively felt startled, his mind roughly grasping Lin Zixiao's purpose. That's right, fellow Taoist Feng did come to see me once. He speculated that Lin Zixiao had secretly investigated Feng Yuan's whereabouts, which was why he confidently sought him out. There was no point in hiding it now. Upon hearing this, Lin Zixiao smiled and asked directly, since that's the case, did fellow Taoist Feng give you something? For instance, something like this. With those words, he revealed a dragon-shaped token in his spotless hand. Upon closer inspection, it looked exactly like the one Feng Yuan had. Qin Ming had anticipated that this thing would be a hot potato, and now it seemed he was right. After pondering for a moment, Qin Ming directly and candidly replied, fellow Taoist Feng indeed had the intention to trade the token with me. However, considering my limited strength and knowing the significant implications of this item, I knew it wasn't something a mere Qi cultivation novice like me could handle. So, I did not agree to his terms, nor did I accept the token. Upon hearing this, Lin Zixiao's expression flickered as he scrutinized Qin Ming's honest demeanor, seemingly without lying. The reason given by the other party made sense too. Oh, really? I'm a bit uneasy. Would you let me search your body? Qin Ming's heart skipped a beat at the suggestion. His eyes flickered as he refused. Elder Lin, I must decline such a request. With that, he tightened his grip on the purple spell leaf, ready to use it and flee at any time. Hearing Qin Ming's decisive reply, Lin Zixiao's expression shifted several times. He never expected. Even faced with someone of the Foundation establishment stage, Qin Ming showed no fear. For a moment, He couldn't fathom the other's intentions. Lin Zixiao thought of something, suddenly lifting the token in his hand and casting a spell onto it. The dragon-shaped token emitted a golden light that enveloped Qin Ming, accompanied by a resonant hum. Roar! Qin Ming panicked and attempted to dodge, but found the light falling on him caused no harm. In a few breaths, the golden light receded like the tide, returning to the token in Lin Zixiao's hand. Haha, so it wasn't on you. It seems I misunderstood, fellow Taoist Qin. Lin Zixiao's smile reappeared as he remarked meaningfully to Qin Ming. Since that's the case, I won't disturb you any longer. I hope we meet again one day. After speaking, Lin Zixiao put on a Buddha mask, casually beckoned, and collected some array chess pieces into his hand. The dark clouds covering the spirit field dispersed instantly. After that, he gave Qin Ming a deep look before turning into a shadow, disappearing into the sky. Phew, that was really dangerous. Never imagined my everyday neighbor would be the top outlaw. This incident served as a wake-up call for him. In the Cultivation Realm, one should never easily trust anyone. Qin Ming wiped the sweat from his forehead, breathing a sigh of relief. At this point, the spirit plant masters in the spirit field, who had narrowly escaped, trembled as they emerged. They only saw a black-robed, evil cultivator wreaking havoc. The subsequent conversation between Lin Zixiao and Qin Ming was blocked by the array, so they saw nothing. The mask-wearing Lin Zixiao streaked through the air as a black escape light, stopping by a hidden mountain ravine. Behind a huge boulder, a Foundation establishment elder from Spirit Feather Sect slowly emerged, wearing a puzzled expression, and questioned Lin Zixiao. Why did you let that boy go? Killing him should have been easy for you, shouldn't it? Demonic chi surged from Lin Zixiao, exuding a formidable aura that forced the Foundation establishment elder to retreat several steps. Do I need you to tell me how to do my job? The Spirit Feather Sect elder staggered to steady himself, his face pale, not daring to say more. After a moment of silence, Lin Zixiao solemnly spoke. Do you think I didn't want to? Fellow Taoist Qin indeed surprised me as well this time. Now, even I can't see through him anymore. The Spirit Feather Sect elder was greatly shocked, showing disbelief. How could that be? He's at most a Qi cultivation stage spirit plant master. Lin Zixiao originally had no intention of explaining further, but he was intrigued enough to say, I have an artifact that can forewarn danger. Just now, it warned me that if I attacked him, I would be the first to die. He must have something up his sleeve. It's becoming more and more interesting. Upon hearing this, the Spirit Feather Sect elder appeared thoughtful, evidently still somewhat skeptical. His eyes flickered uncertainly, internally speculating. Lin Zixiao and that boy have had a connection, saying such nonsense, surely just being soft-hearted. After which, they chatted briefly. Then each quietly went their separate ways. After the spirit field incident occurred, the Spirit Feather Sect dispatched a large number of law enforcement disciples to investigate the matter. After all, the death of a Foundation establishment stage elder is a major event for the sect, even affecting its internal affairs. Even Qin Ming was called to the law enforcement hall to be interrogated several times in succession. Of course, like other spirit plant masters, he claimed ignorance. At this special moment, any disturbance could stir the nerves of the Spirit Feather Sect. Given what they were plotting was no small matter. The Spirit Feather Sect not only heightened its vigilance over the Qingyang market, they also increased manpower for patrolling the spirit field. Qin Ming could almost daily see a large brigade standing guard. He was tense for a while, afraid that Lin Zixiao might come back to trouble him again. But after more than a month passed without any incident, Qin Ming's life returned to peace. Half a year passed by. The Qingyang market was enveloped in a strange atmosphere. Cultivators from different factions were everywhere, yet the intense confrontations of the past were absent. Qin Ming arrived at the 7th floor of Jushuan Pavilion. Long time no see. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Qin to have broken through to the late-stage Qi cultivation. Congratulations. Gu Qingzhao smiled faintly and poured him a cup of tea. Qin Ming took the cup and sipped the tea, modestly saying, "My cultivation is nothing compared to fellow Taoist Gu's. Any recent developments?" Gu Qingzhao heard this, pondered for a moment, and said with unprecedented solemnity, "According to the intelligence we control, it seems the fight for that ancient ruins is truly the main event compared to the Tier 3 spirit vein. There are various signs indicating that the ancient ruins are a place left by a great power from ancient times. Whoever opens the ruins and obtains the heritage inside, their future achievements would be unimaginable. It's likely the Thunder Origins sect can't hold back much longer." Qin Ming frowned, puzzled. At this point, the Thunder Origins sect still hasn't sent anyone over? Fellow Taoist Qin might not know. The reason why all sect forces are holding back is because a few keys to open the ruins are still missing. Without all the keys, no one can enter the ruins. So currently, the situation is that beneath a seemingly calm surface, everyone is secretly trying to find the whereabouts of those keys. These so-called keys are none other than dragon-shaped tokens. Qin Ming nodded secretly, fearing the day all the dragon-shaped tokens are gathered, a full-on conflict would break out among the factions. He knew the precise location of one of the tokens. But after the incident with Lin Zixiao, Qin Ming realized that these dragon-shaped tokens seemed to be able to sense each other. He wondered if, after fellow Taoist Feng's death, that token had been retrieved by someone. Apart from this, Spirit Feather Sect had secretly managed to have a Celestial Spirit Root Foundation Establishment Perfection Cultivator break through to the Golden Core stage. Even Gu Qingzhao didn't seem to know. Could it be that fellow Taoist Qin is also interested in the inheritance within the ruins? Gu Qingzhao smiled faintly at Qin Ming and asked. Qin Ming waved his hand. "My cultivation level is too low. I dare not covet such an opportunity." "Ah, then does fellow Taoist Qin have something to trade this time?" Gu Qingzhao asked. Qin Ming, unhurried, took out 3 jade bottles of pills from the storage pouch and placed them on the table. Gu Qingzhao reached out gently and opened one of the jade bottles. Immediately, a strange pill fragrance permeated the air. "It's a spirit storage pill." Her beautiful eyes were filled with deep surprise. She then asked, "Could it be fellow Taoist Qin has broken through to a high-grade alchemist?" Qin Ming nodded, not admitting nor denying. Gu Qingzhao's beautiful eyes showed a hint of brightness, quickly pouring Qin Ming's spirit tea again, congratulating him. "Then I must congratulate fellow Taoist Qin once again. Congratulations." This time Qin Ming showcased some of his strength to demonstrate his own worth. Only in this way, in the future, could he gain more information from Gu Qingzhao. Gu Qingzhao's reaction was as he expected, once again extending an olive branch to him. After the transaction ended, Qin Ming returned to his courtyard. A few months later, Qin Ming harvested 5 ripening entries from the spirit medicine field in his courtyard. He immediately ripened all 5 Tier 2 divine essence fruits and consecutively consumed 2 quality enhancement entries to elevate the final ripe fruit to the top grade level. This time, Qin Ming harvested a total of 18 top grade divine essence fruits and 5 soul power crystal entries. It must be noted that these are the fruits of Tier 2 spirit plants. If placed outside, they could attract countless cultivators vying for them. Holding the divine essence fruit, the size of a chicken egg, Qin Ming couldn't help but feel overjoyed. He quickly used a specially made jade box to seal it, ensuring the fruit's spirituality did not dissipate. Thinking about it, so much time has passed. With Su Yuqing's qualifications, he should have broken through to the foundation establishment stage by now, right? Perhaps he might have already advanced to a Tier 2 alchemist master. After a burst of inexplicable emotion, he entered the cultivation quiet chamber. Qin Ming planned to use the 5 soul power crystal entries to further enhance his divine soul. He sat cross-legged on the mat, but the thought of enhancing his divine soul each time brought about an agonizing sense of tearing pain. He couldn't help but shiver. But to increase his strength, Qin Ming gritted his teeth. "Let's go for it." Qin Ming calmed his mind, focusing on the soul power crystal entry. Buzz. A terrifying force exploded in his sea of consciousness, like a giant light rising in the midst of darkness, constantly transforming and growing bigger. It instantly turned into daylight. Soon, it entirely occupied Qin Ming's entire sea of consciousness. Crack! A new power was born in his sea of consciousness. Divine thought power. This was the power acquired upon breaking through to the foundation establishment stage. Qin Ming's previous divine soul was already amplified to a terrifying degree. Now, the last barrier vanished like paper, pierced through by him. After a bout of intense pain, Qin Ming's mind returned to clarity. He slightly moved his thoughts. A strange force emerged from his body, clearly enveloping a range of several dozen feet around him. It could not only observe from afar, but also scrutinize into microscopic details. The entire area within several dozen feet was under his control. Is this divine thought power? Qin Ming was exhilarated. He tried to move a table not far away with his divine thought, but only managed to shift it slightly, finding it somewhat exhausting. He then targeted a book on the table and found it could be lifted with ease, flying and twirling through the air. Manipulating objects with divine thought is truly marvelous. After half an incense stick's time, suddenly, Qin Ming felt his vision darken and his face turn pale. The book in midair fell to the ground with a thud. Qin Ming gasped heavily. It seems divine thought power shouldn't be overused. The intensity of his divine thought was now comparable to an early-stage foundation establishment cultivator. When fully spread, it approximately covered a range of 60 feet. With the acquisition of divine thought, both in daily cultivation and in combat, unparalleled convenience was achieved. Following this, Qin Ming made an all-out effort, spending a few days, consumed the remaining 4 soul power crystal entries completely. His divine soul was further enhanced. The intensity of his divine thought elevated to the peak of an early-stage foundation establishment cultivator, capable of enveloping hundreds of feet when fully extended. Just as Qin Ming finished cultivating and was about to exit seclusion, he received a communication talisman from Guqing Zhao. Fellow Taoist Qin, the situation has changed. The latest intelligence shows that all factions have now gathered most of the keys. Only one is left now. Qin Ming received the news and couldn't help but furrow his brows. Then the whole person fell into deep contemplation. I didn't expect it to be so soon. Mid-June, the sky over the Yunhuang Marsh, dark clouds began to gather, seemingly brewing a storm. Qingyang Market, Jushuan Pavilion. Qin Ming sat by the window, looking outside, lost in thought. Hey, have you heard? All the powerful factions have searched everywhere, but still can't find the last dragon-shaped token. The elders say it's the most crucial one. It's really strange. Could the token have been secretly hidden by someone? Yeah, who knows which bastard did it, causing us to be stuck here. What can we do? We can't just sit around forever. There's no way. They say no force can break into that ancient ruin. At the Jushuan Pavilion's wine table, a variety of cultivators were discussing the current situation. Waiter, the bill. Qin Ming sat for a while, planning to leave. Shopkeeper Liao came over immediately when he heard, smiling, "Fellow Taoist Qin, won't you stay a bit longer?" The weather's changing. There are matters in the spirit field that need handling. Qin Ming got up, intending to take out spirit stones to pay. Shopkeeper Liao quickly stopped him. "Fellow Taoist Qin, you're being too polite. You're a valued guest here now. This small drink is on me." With that, Shopkeeper Liao warmly saw Qin Ming out of the store. Outside Qingyang Market, in the Tier 2 spirit field, suddenly a strong wind blew in the sky, accompanied by heavy rain, bending spirit plant crops wildly. In the spirit field, a group of spirit plant masters scrambled to save the spirit plants in every possible way. What's happening? Why did the defense array in the spirit field fail? At this rate, all the spirit plants this year will be wasted. The spirit plant masters anxiously started shouting. At this time, Qin Ming had just arrived at the spirit field. He couldn't understand how the defense array which had never had issues, had suddenly failed. In an instant, his vast divine thought sensed that someone was secretly watching nearby, behind a hidden grove near the spirit field. Two Foundation establishment elders of the Spirit Feather Sect were looking expressionlessly at everything happening within the spirit field. One of them casually raised a hand and set a soundproof restriction. Elder Gu, doing this seems a bit inappropriate, doesn't it? Elder Zhuang Shiran frowned, looking into the spirit field, hesitated, and said to the person next to him. On Elder Gu's rigid face, without any emotion, he replied coldly, "A mere spirit farmer. Can't I deal with him? Always rebellious, thinking of leaving the sect control. It's not that easy, is it?" He doesn't think of yielding to the sect, but instead chooses to cooperate with the Mirror Snow Pavilion. If he can't be used by me, then it's a dead end for him. When the sect recruited cultivators from the Cultivation clan, the contract signed required a full cycle of labor, not a year less. If he dares to run, I'll deal with his family. After breaking through to the Foundation establishment stage, Steward Gu seemed to have a significant change in temperament. Back when he was still a spirit field steward, he couldn't accept that the low-level spirit farmer he once exploited without care unknowingly climbed to a position equal to his own, standing on an equal footing. But now it's different. Steward Gu broke through to the Foundation establishment stage, and his status in the Spirit Feather Sect underwent a tremendous leap with a change in mentality. When he was still an Outer Sect steward, he once sought Qin Ming to purchase top-grade beesfong rice. But the other party, relying on the Mirror Snow Pavilion's backing, flatly refused him, leaving him no face, which he still resents. The other elders in the sect also have the same idea. No matter what means, they must stop him from advancing to a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Keep him here, making him farm for the sect for a lifetime. Qin Ming retracted his divine thought. For that level of soundproof restriction, it was nothing under his powerful divine thought. Knowing the truth, his face turned gloomy, his fist clenched tightly. That old bastard Steward Gu, he's been thinking about me all along, huh? Unexpectedly, the other party's scheming was so deep, already starting to plot against him. Exploiting him for so long wasn't enough. He even wanted to tether him to the Spirit Feather Sect, farming for his whole life. Qin Ming's gaze revealed a cold gleam. He already had a plan in mind. He formed a peculiar spell with his hands, pointed towards the sky over his spirit field. The spirit field within a 5-acre range was shrouded by a hazy gray barrier. In an instant, all the rain and wind seemed frozen in the air. Not a drop could penetrate his spirit field. Fortunately, some time ago, the spirit medicine field in the courtyard refreshed with this wind-stabilizing technique entry. Otherwise, I would have really walked into his trap. In the distant grove, Elder Gu's eyes widened. Huh? How is this possible? How does that kid know such an esoteric magic? Zhuang Shiran was also extremely surprised. All right, let's not miss the forest for the trees. We'll talk about his matters later. The most urgent thing now is to find that dragon-shaped key before the other sections. Before Elder Yuan breaks through to the Golden Core stage, we must not alert him. We must do everything possible to maintain the current situation. No mistakes can be made. Elder Zhuang Shiran said to him seriously, "Once our sect gives birth to a Golden Core ancestor, everything will be different." Elder Gu understood the importance, knew the stakes, and nodded in agreement. However, his eyes flickered, seeming to have something on his mind. Then the two didn't stay any longer and turned to leave. Moments later, inside the spirit field, the previously inert defense array slowly rose, completely blocking the storm outside. Qin Ming looked up at the array above, lost in thought. He had heard the last conversation between Elder Gu and Zhuang Shiran clearly. What is the Spirit Feather Sect doing? It's repaired again? Luckily, there wasn't widespread damage. The loss was small. Qin Ming returned to the market, bought a small defense array from Guqing Zhao, setting it around his spirit field just in case, and secretly buried spirit seeds imbued with thorn technique around the field, ready for any intruder. Fellow Taoist Qin, starting next month, our pavilion will withdraw from Qingyang Market and temporarily return to Yunming Mountain. If the situation in the Yunzi wilderness doesn't calm down soon, we might completely withdraw from here. I wanted to give fellow Daoist Qin a heads up. Gu Qingzhao said rather solemnly to Qin Ming. In that case, can fellow Daoist Gu deliver this to Brother Su for me? Qin Ming took out a jade box and handed it to Gu Qingzhao. He had originally planned to present it later, but the Mirror Snow Pavilion was unwilling to get entangled now. He had to offer it sooner. Gu Qingzhao took the jade box, slightly opened it. Her starry eyes widened in surprise. Tier 2 divine essence fruit. Inside the jade box lay 5 egg-sized, peculiar spirit fruits, their surface emitting a veil of spiritual qi. No, it's top-grade level spirit fruit. Gu Qingzhao realized, staring dumbfoundedly at Qin Ming. Did fellow Daoist Qin cultivate this? That's right. I promised Brother Su before he left. Gu Qingzhao closed the jade box, contemplated for a moment, and asked expectantly, fellow Daoist Qin, your spirit plant mastery is truly rare to even successfully cultivate Tier 2 spirit plants. Does fellow Daoist Qin have any extra divine essence fruits? Our pavilion can purchase them at a high tier. I do have some left, but I want to change the transaction terms. Qin Ming thought for a moment and said to Gu Qingzhao. Gu Qingzhao, hearing it was feasible, revealed a hint of joy between her delicate brows and smiled slightly. What does fellow Daoist Qin want? I wonder if fellow Daoist Gu has any way to secure a spot in the planned illusion realm. Qin Ming straightforwardly asked. Gu Qingzhao heard this and slightly furrowed her eyebrows. She naturally knew that Qin Ming was asking because he intended to advance to a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Instead of seeking a nomination from a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master of the Spirit Feather Sect, Qin Ming came to her. Without even thinking, she knew he must have been met with difficulties from the Spirit Feather Sect. After all, no one would willingly let such talent slip through their fingers. If it were anyone else asking, there would be no chance. However, since it's fellow Daoist Qin, there's still a possibility. Gu Qingzhao pondered for a long while and then said. Qin Ming's expression brightened with joy, and he immediately said, Then we have a deal. You still need to make the trip yourself. I can put in a good word for you, fellow Daoist Qin. Do you remember that Guardian Huangfu also has a Dao companion? Gu Qingzhao asked. Qin Ming had never met her, but had a deep impression. All the Tier 2 spirit plants in Elder Huangfu Qi's cave mansion were planted by this Dao companion. Yes, Elder Huangfu did mention her. Qin Ming nodded. Gu Qingzhao continued. Guardian Huangfu's Dao companion, Chun Xiaoling, is also a Tier 2 spirit plant master and is acquainted with an elder from the Spirit Feather Sect. Perhaps you could give it a try with her. No time like the present. Why not follow me back to Yunming Mountain for a visit? Ultimately, Qin Ming obtained Gu Qingzhao's introduction at the cost of selling 2 divine essence fruits. The transaction was completed. The two of them left the market and flew toward Yunming Mountain. Half an hour later, Qin Ming and Gu Qingzhao, as hoped, met Huangfu Qi's Dao companion, Chun Xiaoling. She was a charming, plump lady with early-stage foundation establishment cultivation. The two explained their purpose for visiting. Chun Xiaoling pondered for a moment and said, Since the pavilion master has personally brought him to discuss this matter, I will reluctantly agree. However, there's one condition after it's done. Qin Ming was filled with joy upon hearing this. Elder Chun, please feel free to mention it. I want half a strand of the mother qi of 10,000 woods. Chun Xiaoling frankly stated to Qin Ming. Qin Ming considered briefly, then replied directly, Agreed, as long as I can obtain it. I will certainly keep my word. With your talent in spirit plants, it shouldn't be too difficult to excel. Chun Xiaoling smiled faintly, speaking meaningfully. For your matter, I even have to lower myself to ask a favor from a certain Spirit Feather Sect elder. You're not a loss. Come to my place in 3 days to collect the nomination. After the matter was settled, Qin Ming's mind was eased. With this, everything was ready. All that remained was for the Tier 2 spirit plants in his 5-acre spiritual field to mature. Returning to Qingyang Market, Qin Ming, as usual, went to tend to the spiritual field. As he approached the field, he noticed a few spirit plant masters pointing and talking about his field. Qin Ming furrowed his eyebrows and quickened his pace. This 5-colored rice is just average, and compared to my 2 acres of Tier 2 jade crystal rice, it's still slightly inferior. A middle-aged cultivator in a spirit feather sect spirit plant master robe stood on the field ridge by the water ditch, arrogantly commenting. The other spirit plant masters beside him echoed in agreement. That's only natural. Fellow Taoist Lian's spirit plant skills are tremendously excellent, taught by Elder Zhuang Shiran, and his promotion to a Tier 2 spirit plant master is already a certainty. When fellow Taoist Li's jade crystal rice matures, it will likely be the Daimingzhen Tower of the Spirit Feather Sect resonates throughout the Yunzi wilderness. Among all the high-grade spirit plant masters, I still have faith in fellow Taoist Li. That countryside boy who came out of nowhere, in my opinion, is merely lucky. Even if he managed to grow a Tier 2 spirit plant without the Elder's nomination, isn't he still stuck farming here obediently? Qin Ming was in a good mood originally today, but ended up encountering these troublesome characters as soon as he went out. "Sai, make way, don't block the path." He walked straight over, using his body to lightly exert dark force, and pushed forward. Splash! The spirit plant master, named Li Yin, fell into the water ditch beside him, looking incredibly disheveled. Regaining his senses, he leapt back onto the ground, cast a cleaning technique on himself, and used mana to dry his clothes. Fellow Taoist Qin, what is the meaning of this? Li Yin looked at him with slight anger. He had noticed Qin Ming coming and originally intended to greet him. Yet, without a word, the other party bumped him directly into the water ditch. He attempted to dodge, but found it was as if he was hit by a demon beast, unable to react at all. The other spirit plant masters, witnessing such a situation, approached Qin Ming angrily, full of menace. Noticing this, Qin Ming suddenly unleashed the late-stage Qi cultivation mana, a surge of mana billowing around him. "So, what's up, several Taoists? Want to spar a bit?" Qin Ming stepped forward boldly, taunting. These spirit plant masters, barely able to hold a chicken, weren't even worth a single hand of his. Late-stage Qi cultivation. Seeing the situation was unfavorable, the spirit plant masters turned tail and fled. "Oomph. Consider yourself gutsy." Li Yin glared fiercely at Qin Ming before scurrying away as well. Qin Ming watched them and smirked. "You should consider yourselves lucky for not stepping into the thorn technique trap I set. Otherwise, there'd be a few more blood pearls." As winter ended and spring arrived, the seasons turned. Time flew by. A year and a half later, with the dual support of entries and pills, Qin Ming, through relentless cultivation day and night, advanced his mana cultivation to the Qi cultivation 8th layer, and the 100 Treasures Glaze scripture also achieved the 8th layer, boosting his power once more. The situation at Qingyang Market was still the same, stagnant. The reason being, after so long, none of the factions had found that dragon-shaped token. Could it be a coincidence? Did fellow Taoist Feng really take that one? Qin Ming mused. It's very likely. This kind of situation, naturally, was what the Spirit Feather Sect was happy to see. If Qin Ming's prediction was right, Yuan Hong, the Celestial Spirit Root Foundation Establishment Perfection Cultivator, was likely on the verge of a breakthrough. But it all didn't matter anymore. For now, all 5 acres of Tier 2 spirit plants in his spiritual field had fully matured and were thriving. The cultivators from the Steward Hall of the Spirit Feather Sect had already recorded everything, thanks to 3 years of diligent farming since planting those 5 acres of Tier 2 spirit plants. Eventually, Qin Ming almost moved next to the spiritual field, setting up a shed to guard the spirit plants day and night, in order to prevent anyone within the Spirit Feather Sect from secretly sabotaging him. Because among the higher-ups of the Spirit Feather Sect, there were still many who didn't wish to see a grassroots spirit farmer rise. Fortunately, hard work pays off, and with the spirit plants about to be harvested, he let out a deep sigh of relief. Soon, After participating in the Plant Illusion Realm trial and advancing to a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master, there would be nothing the Spirit Feather Sect could say. By then, free from labor duties, the sky would be wide open for birds, and the sea vast for fish. The struggles here would no longer concern him. Qin Ming looked at the vibrant, colorfully emanating incredible spirit essence of the five-colored rice in the field. A wave of joy welled up in his heart. This was spiritual rice capable of significantly enhancing Qi cultivation mana, and even Foundation establishment cultivators could gain benefits. It was a rare find. Then there were the other 2 acres of earth-colored red, silver, yellow hemp, full of treasures, quite valuable. Moreover, Qin Ming could dispose of them freely, without having to pay taxes. Shortly, the Dharma ship from the Spirit Feather Sect arrived punctually to levy the spirit rice. The chief steward of the Spirit Feather Sect who came to collect the spirit rice this time was Du Haifu. However, Eldegue also came along. Du Haifu stepped off the Dharma ship. He looked at Qin Ming's spirit field, his eyes filled with shock. He never expected that the little spirit farmer, who once struggled to survive, was now about to advance to a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. He had reached a height even Du Haifu had to look up to. Elder Gu stood atop the Dharma ship, also quietly looking at Qin Ming's spirit field, his expression dark and deep, lost in thought. Fellow Taoist Qin, shall we begin? Du Haifu seemed to have something to say to Qin Ming, but with Elder Gu present, he ultimately held back. Then, Qin Ming and Du Haifu both swung their spiritual scythes, beginning to harvest 3 acres of 5-colored spirit rice. Before long, Qin Ming had already harvested 2 acres by himself. On the other hand, Du Haifu was progressing slowly, panting heavily, having only managed to cut a small handful after a long while. The roots and stems of the Tier 2 5-colored spirit rice were exceptionally tough, and given Du Haifu's cultivation, his efficiency was quite concerning. After half an incense stick of time, Qin Ming harvested the remaining half-acre of 5-colored spirit rice. After threshing all the spirit rice, he also put the straw into his storage pouch. These could be used to make high-grade grass-woven mats, or burned for excellent fertilizer. At this point, Li Yin and his group from the nearby spirit field had just finished paying their spirit rice tax and were walking over. Apparently, they also wanted to see what Qin Ming had reaped. Fellow Taoist Li, this year you harvested 50 pounds of jade crystal rice. Should be enough to secure the top spot, right? You know, this Tier 2 spirit rice is exceptionally hard to grow, and the yield is extremely low. Producing 50 pounds of jade crystal rice from just 2 acres, it seems fellow Taoist Li put in quite the effort. It's just so pretty decent. After saying this, Li Yin, along with a group of spirit plant masters, approached Qin Ming's spirit field and happened to see Du Haifu weighing the 5-colored spirit rice. In front of Qin Ming, 5 large bags of 5-colored spirit rice were neatly arranged. After Du Haifu weighed them with a Great Dipper spiritual artifact, he said with a trembling voice, Tier 2 5-colored spirit rice, harvested, 520 pounds. A tax of 35% should be paid, which is 182 pounds. After paying the spirit rice tax, Qin Ming swiftly stored the remaining 300-plus pounds of 5-colored spirit rice into his storage pouch. Not far away, the atmosphere in the air was somewhat quiet. After a long time, someone finally broke the silence. How much? 520 pounds. Did I hear that right? That's Tier 2 spirit rice. Li Yan's expression was like a jar of soy sauce had been spilled over it. He turned and left without a word. The other spirit plant masters, being sensible, also followed and left. Back on Qin Ming's side, Du Haifu finished collecting the spirit rice tax and returned to the Dharma ship to report to Elder Gu. Elder Gu had naturally observed the entire process just now. He took out a grain of 5-colored spirit rice from the bag, inspecting it slightly, his eyes flickering. Then, Elder Gu flew down from the Dharma ship, landing directly in front of Qin Ming. His stiff face showed no sign of anger or frustration, but he forced a smile and asked, I wonder, "Friend Qin, if you could sell some of the 5-colored spirit rice to this old man." He was also extremely envious of this batch of Tier 2 spirit rice. But now Qin Ming's status was not what it used to be. He was no longer someone who could be exploited as easily as before. "Sorry, Elder Gu, I have plans for this batch of spirit rice and do not intend to sell it." Qin Ming directly refused, not giving the other any face. Qin Ming had long known the other was targeting him secretly and saw no need to play nice now. He had already noted the other in his little black book. Upon hearing this, Elder Gu's face twitched, extremely angry inside, yet he restrained from acting out. "Fine, fine." He gave Qin Ming a meaningful look full of threat. Then he said no more and turned to board the Dharma ship. Qin Ming, with many cards up his sleeve now, was able to speak confidently, unafraid of a newly advanced Foundation establishment elder. He next harvested the 2 acres of red, silver, yellow hemp as well. 10 days later, Qin Ming, with the wood talisman he obtained from Chun Xiaoling, went to the Spirit Feather Sect to participate in the trial assessment. When he arrived, almost everyone was already present. There were about a dozen high-grade spirit plant masters participating in the trial assessment this time. Li Yin was among them. Some were full of confidence, while others looked nervous. Almost all the elders of the Spirit Feather Sect had come to watch. When Elder Gu saw that Qin Ming was also in the assessment team, his brow furrowed, and he questioned the goatee-bearded elder beside him. "Elder Lu, didn't we agree not to give this brat a chance? How did the last spot get given away?" Elder Lu looked embarrassed upon hearing these words and responded with a forced laugh. I didn't want to either, but someone came to me, and I happened to owe her a favor." Upon hearing this, Elder Gu's expression shifted, but he said no more. "Sigh, if this boy really passes the assessment, it shows it's meant to be. Let him be." Elder Zhuang sighed, showing his stance. In fact, he had always appreciated Qin Ming's spirit plant talent and did want to take him as a disciple. However, Qin Ming had no intention of joining the Spirit Feather Sect. The teacher-disciple fate was not yet ripe. A moment later, the elders led the dozen or so high-grade spirit plant masters participating in the assessment to a restricted area. Here, ancient trees towered and strange rocks jutted out. In the end, the group arrived in front of grassland, where 7 huge wooden steels, each 10 feet high, stood in the center. "This is the place where you all will participate in the Plant Illusion Realm trial assessment. Once you use the wood talisman in your hand, you will enter the Illusion Realm. Each person will encounter different trial illusions. You will know once you enter. But regardless of the trial content that appears, the shorter the time used, the higher your rank will be." Elder Zhuang introduced the group and then waved his hand. A beam of white light shot forth, landing into the wooden array. Instantly, the wood array was activated, emitting a shimmering green light, soaring skyward, appearing quite mystical. Li Yin stepped forward under everyone's gaze, crushed the wood talisman in his hand, and the wood array immediately cast a green light, enveloping him, and he disappeared instantly. Qin Ming watched this and thought the opponent seemed quite familiar with the process, likely having been here before. Subsequently, the other spirit plant masters followed suit one by one. One by one, shadows disappeared under the green light. Qin Ming also stepped forward, took a deep breath, and crushed the wood talisman in his hand. In an instant, he felt a sudden dizziness, and after a whirlwind sensation, when he opened his eyes again, he was inside a wooden hut. Qin Ming's gaze fell on a stone stele at the entrance of the wooden hut. He browsed it for a long time. Only then did he understand that this so-called Plant Illusion Realm trial was created by a stunningly talented high-tier spirit plant master. This kind of wooden array that allows entry into an illusion realm not only exists in the Spirit Feather Sect. Many larger spirit plant sects have preserved such wood arrays. The trial assessment results are also commonly used throughout the Southern Wilderness Cultivation Realm. For spirit plant masters, even if they do not pass the assessment, they can gain significant benefits in their understanding of the path of spirit plants or in other aspects. So, the quotas are particularly precious. Just after Qin Ming finished reading the introduction to the Illusion Realm, a line of text suddenly appeared on the stone stele in front of him. Choose the difficulty level for this Illusion Realm trial. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Qin Ming was taken aback. You can actually choose the difficulty yourself? The higher the difficulty, the greater the benefits? After contemplating for a moment and with the entry in hand, he calmly chose the level difficulty. Squeak! As Qin Ming finished his selection, the wooden door of the wooden hut automatically opened. The scene outside left Qin Ming's mouth gaping in astonishment. Damn! Qin Ming looked at the scene outside the wooden door. He was utterly dumbfounded. Outside the door, a golden desert abruptly appeared in his line of sight. Outside the Illusion Realm, the elders of the Spirit Feather Sect were watching the direction of the wood array, discussing among themselves. What do you think? How many disciples will pass the trial and advance to Tier 2 this time? It's hard to say. After all, even for the lowest difficulty gun-level Illusion Realm, it's always been a rarity. Lao Zhuang, your disciple went in once before, should be a sure thing this time, right? Sai, don't bring up that useless thing. What do you think about that kid Qin Ming? Elder Lu stroked his goatee, asking calmly. Elder Zhuang frowned and pondered for a while, then confidently said, in my opinion, as long as he doesn't challenge the higher difficulty realms, the probability of passing the trial is very high. Elder Gu beside him looked somewhat displeased upon hearing this. Although our Spirit Feather Sect's highest record is said to be passing the Class A trials, none of our disciples have succeeded in recent years. I wonder if anyone could break the record this time. As they spoke, time slowly passed by. Half a day later, a green light flickered near the wood array and a figure appeared. After coming out, that person's face was full of depression, clearly indicating a failed trial. Sigh, I didn't expect my first time to encounter the hardest spirit plant heart refining path of the gun-level Illusion Realm. Before long, spirit plant masters withdrew from the Illusion Realm one after another. Until now, not a single spirit plant master managed to pass the trial. This is too difficult. I had to test my affinity for plants and find the primordial mother spirit plant in an entire grassland. What does that count as? My realm required me to treat several unfamiliar Tier 2 spirit plants within a set time limit. Unwittingly, more than half of the spirit plant masters undergoing the illusion trial had already exited. Still, no one passed. At that moment, a familiar figure withdrew from the Illusion Realm. Everyone looked over, and it turned out to be Li Yin, the first to enter. At this moment, he was visibly excited. On a monument within the wood array behind him, a brilliance lit up, showing that Li Yin had passed the trial. Grade E difficulty Illusion Realm completed in 3.5 hours. The flow of time in the Illusion Realm differs from the outside world, making it feel like a year or two has passed inside. Then, a glow descended onto the wood array, merging into Li Yan's Spirit Plant Master Identity plaque, with the 3 leaves at the back fused into one, gradually transforming into a spirit plant. This signifies his successful advancement to a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Li Yin expressed extreme joy, quickly stepping forward and bowing before Elder Zhuang Shiran. Disciples didn't disappoint the teacher's expectations. I've passed this trial. Your ability to pass the Grade E difficulty trial is commendable. You now have a chance to compete for the top 3 and obtain a wisp of Mother Chi of 10,000 woods. Elder Zhuang Shiran rarely showed a satisfied smile. But next, 2 additional talented spirit plant masters successfully passed the trial. Moreover, they all surpassed D-class difficulty realms. One of the spirit plant masters even completed the B-class difficulty realm trial. Li Yan's heart sank. If one more spirit plant master scores better than him, he would be out of the top 3. Another hour passed. Most of the spirit plant masters from the Illusion Realm had already come out. So far, only 4 high-grade spirit plant masters passed the trial and advanced to Tier 2 spirit plant masters. It seems there's only one left, right? It's Qin Ming. He hasn't come out yet. Being in there for so long probably failed, right? The spirit plant masters on site began discussing. Just then, a streak of green light flashed, and Qin Ming's figure emerged from below the wood array. Just as everyone assumed he had failed, the 7 giant wooden tablets behind him all blazed with a divine radiance, displaying a striking line. Class A difficulty trial passed, completed in 5 hours. In an instant, the air fell silent. Spirit Feather Sect's elders and the spirit plant masters present were all stunned. Could it be a mistake? He actually passed the Class A difficult trial? This almost broke our sect's historical record. Unfortunately, missed it by just half an hour. The Spirit Feather Sect elders exchanged glances, feeling as if they missed more than just a good disciple. Thus, the top 3 of the Plant Illusion Realm trials have been determined. Qin Ming undoubtedly took the top spot. He was filled with emotion, not expecting the Class A difficulty realm trial to require planting 3 different spirit plants in the desert. From the start, he needed to select 3 suitable spirit seeds from hundreds of Tier 2 spirit seeds for desert realm growth. Making a single wrong selection would lead to immediate failure. Fortunately, Qin Ming's studies from the Spirit Plant book hadn't gone to waste. After correctly selecting 3 spirit seeds from memory, he proceeded with planting and cultivation, initially wanting to test, not relying on entries to pass the trial. He soon realized he underestimated the difficulty of the Class A realm trial. Although he successfully planted 2 Tier 2 spirit plants, little time remained until the trial ended. For the last spirit plant, he'd used the ripening entry. This trial in the Class A realm felt as if 2 years had passed, further enhancing and deepening his understanding of Tier 2 spirit plant growing experience. After passing the trial, he also received rewards from the realm, obtaining a total of 7 wisps of Mother Qi of 10,000 woods. Li Yin stared intently at Qin Ming, filled with jealousy, yet restrained himself from showing it. Elder Gu's expression was very grim, his eyes flickering as if calculating something internally. Elder Lu expressed a bit of satisfaction with a slight smile. The spirit plant masters present, looking at Qin Ming and the others who successfully advanced to Tier 2 spirit masters, showed expressions of envy. Inside, Qin Ming was overjoyed as he had awaited this moment for too long. Advancing to Tier 2 spirit plant master. This meant from now on, he'd be exempt from Spirit Feather Sect's labor duties and restore his freedom, unbound by the sect. Suppressing his excitement, Qin Ming approached the group of Spirit Feather Sect elders and said directly, "Reporting to the elders, I have advanced to Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Per sect regulations, I request the removal of the labor contract binding me." His words left the Spirit Feather Sect elders speechless, as this was the rule set when the sect recruited cultivators initially. Zhuang Shiran's expression was conflicted as he asked, "After our discussion, given your talent in spirit plant discipline, we hope you stay with us. We can remove your labor duties, and you may choose any elder to study under fully as you wish. Would friend Qin reconsider?" "Thanks for the kind offer, Elder Zhuang, but my mind is made up." Qin Ming refused without hesitation. Elder Lu sighed, "So be it. Elder Gu, bring out the labor contract roster." Reluctantly, Elder Gu took out an ancient jade scroll, glanced at Qin Ming, then handed it to Elder Lu. Elder Lu skimmed the labor roster and struck out Qin Ming's name and the contract attached to it. Mysteriously, Qin Ming felt a formless shackle lifted from him. "Friend Qin, congratulations on becoming a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. You are now free from the sect's labor duty, regaining your freedom. From now on, you are free to stay or leave at your will, with no ties to our sect." Qin Ming was overwhelmed with emotion upon hearing this, quickly bowing to thank Elder Lu. After all, this opportunity was indeed derived from Chun Xiaoling's efforts. Qin Ming already had plans for the future, intending not to linger any longer. Thereafter, ignoring the others' gazes, he walked straight out of the Spirit Feather Sect's mountain gate, took flight on the Spiritual Light Shuttle, heading towards Qingyang Market. Amidst the clouds, Qin Ming let out an excited, long roar. At this moment, he felt indescribably exhilarating. The feeling of not having to rely on others turned out to be so wonderful. Next, he planned to find Qin Zhao to see if he could take the Dharma ship of Mirror Snow Pavilion to leave this chaotic land of Yunza wilderness. Qin Ming steered the spiritual light shuttle, overlooking the scenery, retreating below. His mind started to drift back, remembering the bitter journey of being assigned here as a spirit farmer, still as vivid as ever. Now having become a Tier 2 spirit plant master, wherever he goes, he could become a valued guest in any power. However, Qin Ming still decided to find a place abundant in spiritual qi, to farm alone and develop steadily, contemplating affairs of foundation establishment. Suddenly, as he was pondering to himself, Qin Ming's formidable divine thought sensed two cultivators with powerful mana, pursuing him from behind. Foundation establishment stage. His heart immediately tightened. There was no need to think about what was happening. Qin Ming expanded his divine thought again and found indeed hundreds of zhang behind. There were Elder Gu from Spirit Feather Sect and another Foundation establishment elder, rapidly approaching him at full speed. Immediately, without further thought, he stimulated the spiritual light shuttle at full speed, transforming into a stream of light disappearing into the sky. This kid actually has a top-grade flying spiritual artifact. Don't hold back. Let's also chase at full speed. We must stop him before he enters Qingyang Market. That was agreed beforehand. The mother chi of 10,000 woods on him goes to me. You can handle the person as you wish. All right. Qin Ming's brows furrowed, noticing the two Foundation establishments quickly approaching him. He knew that the other party would catch up very soon. Qin Ming gritted his teeth. He took out two spherical objects from his storage pouch and precisely chose a moment. When rounding a mountain peak, he swiftly threw them backward. Instantly, Elder Gu's heart suddenly rose with intense unease, hurriedly taking out a defensive spiritual artifact to protect himself. Bang! Boom! A violent explosion sound echoed, accompanied by blue electric arcs of flashing lightning, filling the air behind. In an instant, the ground shook and the mountains moved. In midair, a small mushroom cloud slowly rose. Caught off guard, the Foundation establishment elder beside Elder Gu had an arm blown off. The two Foundation establishment elders of Spirit Feather Sect hadn't expected him to have such a thing. Damn, that kid actually has thunder. The other Foundation establishment elder was injured, his face pale, quickly took out a healing elixir to ingest, and cast a technique to stop the bleeding of his wound. A rare trace of dread appeared on his face, because he didn't know how many of these Qin Ming still had. If the pursuit continued, there was a chance it could end disastrously in unforeseen circumstances. Elder Gu looked at the direction Qin Ming was fleeing, enraged. Consider him lucky. A stick of incense later, Qin Ming returned to Qingyang Market. He knew Elder Gu and the other would definitely not dare to pursue into Qingyang Market, as the image of Spirit Feather Sect was something they still cared about. Besides that, now Qingyang Market was a mix of various elements, like a powder keg ready to explode, just missing the fuse. One careless move could directly provoke intense reactions from other forces within the market. Qin Ming returned to cool small residence. His expression was extremely grim. He didn't expect Spirit Feather Sect to use such underhanded tactics, were it not for his prepared contingency. It would have been difficult to escape. I just want to quietly farm. Since you are forcing me so much, you can't blame me then. Qin Ming's heart was filled with rage. Suddenly an extremely devious idea popped up in his mind. Then, he harvested all the spirit medicine from the courtyard that he could take. But when it came to his life-bound spirit plant, the black vine, Qin Ming couldn't help but fret. Since living creatures can't be directly stored in the storage pouch, what if it dies? This was a life-bound spirit plant he painstakingly successfully refined. He couldn't leave it unattended. As Qin Ming was pondering a plan, the black vine seemed to understand his thought. In his astonished gaze, the black vine twisted and danced like a pool of ink, crawling towards his arm and tightly wrapping around it like a vine tattoo. Wow, this works. Qin Ming looked at the black vine coiling around his arm and exclaimed. Yinming Mountain. Qin Ming returned again to Gu Qingzhao's cave mansion. Fellow Taoist Qin, have you finished the trial assessment? Gu Qingzhao invited him to be seated, pouring tea for Qin Ming. Qin Ming nodded, taking out his spirit plant master identity plaque. Its reverse side had a spirit plant illuminated, glowing brightly. Congratulations, fellow Taoist Qin, on advancing to Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Gu Qingzhao's beautiful eyes shone, sincerely congratulating him. Although she had long known Qin Ming could cultivate Tier 2 spirit plants, and of good grade, yet his passing the trial assessment of the plant illusion realm had still shocked her. Fellow Taoist Gu, I am now free from Spirit Feather Sect servitude, regaining my freedom. I wish to inquire, is there any method to leave Yunza wilderness? Qin Ming took the spirit mist tea brewed by Gu Qingzhao, sipping it lightly as he asked. At his words, Gu Qingzhao's eyes inadvertently flashed with a glimmer. She stood up directly, sincerely inviting once more. I would like to invite fellow Taoist Qin to become an honored guest elder of our pavilion. If you have any requests, please feel free to tell me. As for the method to leave, half a month later, our pavilion will withdraw from Yinhuang Marsh. At that time, fellow Taoist Qin can accompany us on the Dharma ship to leave. Looking at Gu Qingzhao's utmost sincere invitation, Qin Ming found it hard to refuse immediately. Fellow Taoist Gu, sorry I can't agree to join your pavilion. I prefer not being restricted, otherwise I wouldn't have left Spirit Feather Sect. But in future trade exchanges, I can choose to cooperate more with your pavilion. At his words, Gu Qingzhao's eyes revealed a hint of disappointment. After a moment of consideration, she visibly brightened, then said, could fellow Taoist Qin become an honorary guest elder for our pavilion? Just to hold a title in our pavilion. Normally you won't be bothered. Fellow Taoist Qin could enjoy certain privileges and discounts. Resources would also be prioritized to you. Upon hearing, Qin Ming mused slightly. Gu Qingzhao's words had reached this stage. If he refused further, it would be too inconsiderate. Thus, he nodded, then as fellow Taoist Gu says. Hearing this, Gu Qingzhao was delighted, lifted her teacup saying, then let's toast to a successful cooperation. The two symbolically took a sip. I wonder where fellow Taoist Qin plans to go in the future. Gu Qingzhao put down her teacup and suddenly inquired. Qin Ming smiled slightly. To be honest, I haven't decided where to settle. There are still some matters yet to be taken care of. Once that's done, I'll make a decision. Then, Qin Ming retrieved 50 genes of Tier 2 5-colored spirit rice from the storage pouch, placing it before Gu Qingzhao, saying, since I've agreed to be the honorary guest elder of fellow Taoist Gu, let these spirit rice be auctioned for me. Gu Qingzhao gazed at the colorful 5-colored spirit rice, momentarily lost in thought. After a long pause, she finally waved her hand to store the spirit rice, joyfully saying, certainly, it won't disappoint fellow Taoist Qin. Coincidentally, our pavilion's Dharma ship withdrawal will have an auction on board. Many cultivators will attend then. The two conversed for a long while. Having secured a retreat plan, Qin Ming took leave. Subsequently, he visited Huang Fuqi's cave mansion to deliver the half-strand of Mother Qi of 10,000 woods promised to Qin Xiaoling. Having dealt with these tasks, Qin Ming returned to the Shanty district, took away the violet alchemy furnace, afterward buried the earth fire in the alchemy room. He looked up at the starry night and murmured, almost there, let me give you all a spark. Night, few stars under the bright moon. Qin Ming left Qingyang Market, riding the spiritual light shuttle to a place. About an hour later, he arrived at the base of a cliff and then extended his divine thought to carefully search around. A moment later, Qin Ming discovered a slight mark on a nearby rock wall. This should be the place. He extended his fist and punched towards the stone wall. Bam! A Tuzhonghai entrance appeared in front of Qin Ming. This place was the feng shui treasure spot that Feng Yuan mentioned just before he left. Honestly, if he hadn't told me, it would be impossible for an ordinary person to find this place. According to Feng Yuan's final description, This cave was accidentally discovered a long time ago by him and his brother while hunting demon beasts. Qin Ming cautiously swept his divine thought through the cave and found nothing unusual, so he stepped inside. He walked hundreds of zhang along the path and finally reached the innermost part of the cave. There, he found a skeleton sitting on a stone slab. Qin Ming walked over and examined it carefully, then sighed deeply. Ah, fellow Taoist Feng. The owner of the remains was undoubtedly Feng Yuan. Beside the corpse lay a dragon-shaped token and a yellow map. Qin Ming reached out and lightly grasped them, and the two items fell into his hands. He toyed with the token for a while and discovered that upon injecting mana, it could activate a golden light curtain accompanied by a dragon's roar. After that, he opened the map and studied it carefully. Upon closer inspection, Qin Ming instantly felt as if he had seen this map's material somewhere before. Suddenly, a sparkle flashed in his mind, and he remembered. Qin Ming tapped his storage pouch and took out the beast hide that recorded the 100 Treasures glazed scripture. In comparison, he was astonished to find that it was exactly the same as the map's material. At this moment, the two pieces of beast hide overlapped, and a series of red, dotted lines gradually lit up, eventually pointing to a location within the ancient ruins. It clearly marked a safe and fast route. This ruin actually has two entrances. If that's the case, when the ruin opens, perhaps I could quietly slip in and take a look. Qin Ming originally didn't want to get involved with the ruins matters, but as it related to his main body refining technique, he wavered. And the beast hide indicated that this map was unique, meaning only he knew of this secret passage. Qin Ming put away the two items. He spoke to Feng Yuan's remains. Fellow Taoist Feng, I will definitely fulfill my promise to you. I've already killed 2 core disciples of the Spirit Feather Sect, so taking these 2 items isn't for nothing. Rest in peace. With that said, Qin Ming stepped out of the cave, casting a spell to seal the entrance again. An hour later, Qin Ming returned to the vicinity of Qingyang Market. He looked forward, a smile appearing on his lips. At this moment, resting quietly in his sea of consciousness was a green, dark illusion entry leaf. It was recently refreshed from several black fruits that reappeared on the black vine, which he ripened. After using this dark illusion entry, it can consume the essence of plants to create an illusion, transforming into the appearance of any object with the ability to move, lasting about the time of burning an incense stick. Qin Ming tapped the entry leaf with his mind. In an instant, dots of green light appeared in the air beside him, flickering like fireflies. Qin Ming knew this was the essence of plants, and immediately he imagined the appearance of Spirit Feather Sect's Eldergue in his mind. Right after, the essence of plants before him transformed into the likeness of Eldergue, lifelike, almost indistinguishable from reality. However, this illusion lacked spirit and seemed a bit stiff. But for Qin Ming now, it was good enough. Qin Ming injected a bit of mana into Eldergue and gave an order, then handed the dragon-shaped token to Eldergue, instructing go. The Eldergue, transformed by the dark illusion, nodded woodenly, took the dragon-shaped token, and flew toward Qingyang Market. Watching Eldergue leave, Qin Ming said playfully, Eldergue, let you lead the band. He then descended on a mountain peak, quietly watching Qingyang Market from afar. Tonight, no sleep is destined. Eldergue quickly landed in front of Qingyang Market's archway. The Spirit Feather Sect guards, seeing it was Eldergue, hurriedly bowed and saluted, allowing entry. Eldergue nodded and then entered Qingyang Market. One of the guards scratched the back of his head, perplexed, and said, Why does Eldergue seem a bit strange today? What's strange? The other guard asked. I can't quite say. After entering the market, Eldergue turned from the main road into an alley and took out the dragon-shaped token. At this time, the dragon-shaped token seemed to sense the presence of other tokens within the market, mutually attracting each other. It started buzzing and soon began to tremble. Eldergue hesitated no longer, leaping into the air, tossing the dragon-shaped token upward toward the center of the market. Roar! In an instant, A dragon's roar resounded throughout Qingyang Market. In the sky above the market center, a golden light curtain manifested a giant dragon's apparition. It seemed to be summoning the other tokens. Having done all this, Elder Gu fell back into the alley and dispersed into scattered points of light. Look, it's the last dragon token. It's finally appeared. No one fight with me. In Qingyang Market, at this moment, countless figures leapt toward the dragon-shaped token in the sky. A riot was imminent. All the cultivators from various sects and factions were instantly red-eyed. The prior tacit standoff among them suddenly collapsed. This sudden appearance of the last dragon-shaped token was like a fuse, thoroughly igniting the long-standing tension between the various forces. Brothers, what are you all waiting for? Our chance is here. 0 spirit stones purchase. The path to foundation establishment is right before us. While those sects and families competed for the token, the tribulation cultivators amid the crowd also dropped their disguises, beginning to burn, kill, and rob within the market. Rumble. The Tier 2 water curtain cyan array of the Spirit Feather Sect was fully activated. A cyan light curtain, like a dome, enveloped the entire Qingyang Market. From above, powerful magic spells were fired, bombarding the rioting cultivators below, starting to forcefully suppress the uprising. Rumble. Crackle. A louder spell explosion boomed from the direction of Spirit Feather Sect's Mingjin Tower. Amidst it also came the sound of clashing magical artifacts. In a flash, another huge crash echoed, and the entire 9-story Mingjin Tower collapsed into ruins. Qin Ming, watching from afar, was dumbfounded, his scalp tingling. Out of the ruins, several escape lights shot out. At the forefront was the Foundation Establishment Elder of the Spirit Feather Sect, Zheng Qingran. He was on duty guarding Qingyang Market, unexpectedly encountering such a world-shaking upheaval just a few days in. 100 Flowers Fairy, Linghu Qing, what do you mean? Are you declaring war on us, the Spirit Feather Sect? Elder Zheng Qingran's face showed anger, blood streaming from his chest, evidently wounded in the previous clash. The 100 Flowers Saintess from 100 Flowers Sect, wearing a thin pink veil, smiled like a blooming flower, amplifying her voice with mana to echo throughout the market. Listen carefully, all forces. Golden Cloud Valley and Spirit Feather Sect have sinister ambitions. The Upper Sect commands, unite to strike them down. Golden Cloud Valley has just been eradicated by the Upper Sect. Now only Spirit Feather Sect remains. Inside the market, in an artifact refining shop, an elder with graying hair looked at the sudden massive change outside the window, his face bewildered. This is the dawn of a new era. Buzz, just as a few Foundation Establishment cultivators were facing off. A fiery red light curtain suddenly appeared over Qingyang Market, enveloping the entire Tier 2 cyan water curtain array within. This red light curtain was clearly also an extremely advanced Tier 2 array, and an immense spiritual power rapidly spread outward. Countless strange runes swam like little fish within the red light curtain. Boom! Suddenly, the red array launched an attack, and from the 4 corners, southeast, southwest, northwest, and northeast, several dazzling magical attacks erupted. Crack! Qingyang Market's Tier 2 cyan water curtain array shattered like broken glass in an instant. Bam! With the final magical strike, the defense array that had protected Qingyang Market for many years dissolved in this moment. Who comes here? It's actually Array breaking an array. A high-tier array master. The terrifying might above the celestial vault drew everyone within the market to raise their heads and look up. As the light curtain dispersed, the figure of a tall cultivator in a black robe appeared, wearing a Buddha mask, emanating surging demonic chi, standing in midair. He quietly gazed down below. It's the demonic cultivator Lin Zixiao. Even this evil star has come. Things are dire. The next moment, Lin Zixiao moved, casting several black ribbons from his hands, cutting through everything. Several cultivators below in the market who were contesting for the token were all slashed into pieces. He raised his hand to grab, and the last dragon token fell into his hand. Lin Zixiao did not linger, turning into a black escape light and disappeared into the horizon. From when he entered, broke the array, and snatched the dragon token, it only took a brief moment. The forces of all sides hadn't even reacted yet. In an instant, someone shouted loudly. The last token was taken by Lin Zixiao. Now all tokens have been gathered. He must be headed to the ruins. Yet without the tokens in our possession, he can't get in either. He's surely gone to the ruins. Everyone charges together. With this shout, many sects and family forces people began to chase in the direction of Lin Zixiao. Next, the Cultivation Realm's most genuine scene began to unfold, with several major sects and family cultivators leaving, and no longer having the market's defense array. Countless loose cultivators and third-rate powers exposed the dirtiest side of human nature, starting to loot and pillage, just like what the Tribulation cultivator did at the start. Damn it, who was the one that tossed the last dragon token up in the air just now? I vow to fight them to the death. I think it was Elder Yu from Spirit Feather Sect. Yes, exactly him. I saw it very clearly. All right, let's start by killing those from Spirit Feather Sect. Instantly, the forces remaining in Qingyang Market turned their spearheads towards Spirit Feather Sect's cultivators, slaughtering them mercilessly. Within Qingyang Market, thick smoke billowed, flames soared into the sky, with sounds of smashing, looting, shouting, and crying intermingling. Qin Ming saw that nearly everything was done, then summoned the spiritual light shuttle and flew in the direction where Lin Zixiao and others had headed. He followed distantly behind those few sect members, continuing southward for a day and a night. Suddenly, a vast plain appeared ahead in Qin Ming's sight, with a massive sinkhole several miles wide exposed at the center. Inside was shrouded in a layer of dense gray mist. If one explored carelessly, even their divine sense would be sucked inside. All around the sinkhole lay numerous broken ruins. At this time, nearby, cultivators from the 7 great sect and family powers had already gathered, with Lin Zixiao standing at the edge of the sinkhole. Even the cultivators from Thunder Origin Sect were here in dozens, subtly indicating the 7 great powers being led by them. Qin Ming expanded his divine thought to sweep around, discovering many cultivators from smaller powers lurking in the shadows, intending to take advantage of the chaos. At this moment, Lin Zixiao flew into the sky, embedding the 3 tokens in his hand onto a large stone tablet at the edge of the sinkhole. As he completed his actions, in the crowd from various sects, others followed Lin Zixiao's example, embedding token after token into the stone tablet, until the last token was placed. Rumble, roar. The phantom of a giant dragon roared, flying from within the stone tablet, instantly diving into the dense mist within the sinkhole. In no time at all, the earth began to tremble. The dense fog dispersed, and a golden light shot skyward. After the runes dissipated, a grand and imposing underground palace was revealed within the sinkhole. All the cultivators present immediately focused their gaze upon it, each one excited, their breathing heavy. Suddenly, Lin Zixiao took the lead by leaping into the underground palace, and, before leaving, he channeled his mana and shouted to the many sects' influences below. "Ha ha! You bunch of useless people, Spirit Feather Sects Yuan Hong secretly advanced to the Golden Core stage at the Tier 3 Spirit Vein without anyone knowing. Yet all of you came here to fight for opportunities. When he breaks through to the Golden Core stage, it will be the end for your sect influences." With these words, the cultivators of Thunder Origin Sect and the 7 great powers were instantly halted, taken aback. Is he lying? Such a demonic instigator dares to deceive people. Yuan Hong is merely at early-stage foundation establishment. How can he possibly have achieved the perfection of the Golden Core breakthrough? Lin Zixiao chuckled. Humph. You fool. Who told you Yuan Hong is only at early-stage foundation establishment? Spirit Feather Sect has concealed his talent. He is a celestial spirit root cultivator of the metal element. My information is very reliable, and I disdain arguing with you. Believe it if you will, but he might indeed break through in the next 2 days. With that, he ignored the reaction of these sect cultivators and turned to fly into the underground palace. Above ground, several major sect influences hesitated momentarily. Better to believe it than not. If true, Spirit Feather Sect has significant ambitions, we must quickly send this news back to the sect. The cultivators of Thunder Origin's sect looked very grim. If Lin Zixiao's words hold any truth, Spirit Feather Sect is poised for a complete rise. Thunder Origin Sect, as Wei Country's undisputed top sect, is extremely unwilling to see such a situation unfold. The other sects were equally puzzled. They quickly sent this earth-shattering news back to their respective sections. Qin Ming observed from afar, furrowing his brow, silently thinking, Lin Zixiao surely has an insider in Spirit Feather Sect. He knows even such top-secret information. Afterward, most cultivators of Thunder Origin Sect and the 7 great powers changed direction, flying toward the Tier 3 Spirit Vein. Only a few cultivators entered the underground palace among the ancient ruins. Seeing the timing was right, Qin Ming activated his spiritual light shuttle and flew off in another direction. After the time of 1 incense stick, he followed the guidance of the Beast Hide map and arrived before a massive waterfall. Then, his divine thought left his body to scan behind the waterfall. Finding no anomalies there, Qin Ming promptly threw out the Beast Hide in his hand, fixing it in midair, and cast mana with a finger. The Beast Hide seemed to be drawn by some force. It stopped at a point in the middle of the waterfall, then emitted a golden barrier that landed on the waterfall, instantly revealing a twisted spatial entrance. A delighted expression appeared on Qin Ming's face as he swiftly entered it, then took the Beast Hide back. The twisted spatial entrance quickly closed, reverting to its original state. Qin Ming felt a momentary dizziness and was instantly transported to an inner part of the ruins. As he regained his composure and looked around, he found himself in a 2-acre medicinal garden, except there were no spirit medicines planted inside. The garden was occupied by over 10 stone platforms, each shielded by a light cover. The largest shields were a black, a purple, and a blue one, emitting the strongest light from the innermost area. It seemed the items inside must be the best. Even when Qin Ming tried with his divine thought, he couldn't see the items inside clearly. It seems to be some kind of unique restriction. He exerted all his strength to attack these shields, but they remained unmoved. Qin Ming walked around the stone platforms, taking out the 2 pieces of beast hide. In an instant, a complex rune lit up on the beast hide, resonating with one of the light clusters inside a stone platform. Surprisingly, it was the light shield among the strongest 3, the purple one. Qin Ming waved the beast hide forward. The rune entered the light shield. The restriction above instantly dissipated, revealing the item inside. It was a scroll of beast hide scripture. Excited, Qin Ming reached out to grab it, then flipped it open to take a brief look. Indeed, it's the follow-up technique of the 100 Treasures Glaze scripture. It not only includes body refining techniques for the foundation establishment stage, but can also be cultivated to foundation establishment perfection. He was overjoyed, having experienced the powerful strength brought by cultivation techniques. He found it hard to resist their allure. Next, he picked up the other beast hide map, trying each in turn when he approached the 3rd blue light shield. It responded again. The light shield disappeared, revealing a jade bottle, radiating astonishing spirit charm. Qin Ming opened the jade bottle, peered inside, and widened his eyes. Inside was a mass of frozen blue flames. It's heaven and earth spirit fire. This is at least a tier 2 spirit fire. Qin Ming quickly sealed the jade bottle, happily placing it into his storage pouch. He then brought the beast hide close to the remaining light shields and tried them all, only to find no reaction. In an instant, Qin Ming sensed someone approaching the spirit medicine garden. He hurriedly took out the beast hide map, fixed it in midair where he had entered, and pointed with a surge of mana. A twisted passage appeared, and Qin Ming quickly stepped into it. After a moment of disorientation, The passage disappeared without a trace. As soon as Qin Ming left, a shadow descended upon the spirit medicine garden. The newcomer was none other than the demonic cultivator Lin Zixiao. He frowned, surveying the garden, then proceeded to the two now empty stone pedestals. Could someone have beaten me to it? That doesn't make sense. No one should be faster than me. Feeling puzzled, Lin Zixiao casually unleashed a black bolt toward a light shield, but elicited no response. What kind of restriction is this? Interesting. Then he raised his hand, releasing a set of array flags to cover all the light shields. He began to unravel these restrictions. Outside the waterfall, the space twisted, and Qin Ming's figure was once more teleported out. Qin Ming's gains this time were truly considerable, and he couldn't help feeling a little excited. He didn't linger. He summoned his spiritual light shuttle and flew towards Yunming Mountain. But along the way, he repeatedly encountered cultivators from the 7 great powers chasing members of the Spirit Feather Sect. He had to slow down, try his best to avoid these people. A day later, Qin Ming hid behind a depression in the mountains to rest. After taking a pill to restore his mana, he cautiously used his divine thought to sweep his surroundings. Once he confirmed it was safe, he was just about to summon his spiritual light shuttle to leave. But just then, whoosh whoosh, in the distance, 2 cultivators with strong mana fluctuations were flying over, landing precisely a few hundred feet away from him. Qin Ming's heart immediately tensed. He cursed his luck internally. He quickly concealed his figure, suppressing his aura. When he finally saw who it was, he was utterly astonished. One of the tall, black-robed cultivators was Lin Zixiao. To his surprise, the other Foundation establishment cultivator was Eldergue from the Spirit Feather Sect. Qin Ming's mind began to race, not daring to act rashly. Why did you publicly reveal that matter? The Spirit Feather Sect's situation is already precarious. I fear I can't remain here any longer. And who knows which bastard impersonated me, openly inciting conflict. Now all the blame points to me. It's infuriating. Eldergue's face was as cold as ice. His current situation was truly one of being criticized by everyone. You obtained the Foundation establishment pill and successfully established your foundation. Shouldn't you pay some price for it? Besides, you ought to know, ever since you killed the one named Long in the slums, you can't get off this ship. Lin Zixiao's voice was cold. In the distance, hearing this, Qin Ming's heart settled. So fellow Taoist Long's death was actually connected to Eldergue. I've done everything I promised you. Henceforth, we owe each other nothing, Eldergue said with resolute words. Lin Zixiao heard this and sneered. You were the one who came to me first. Wasn't it a bit too late to want out now? What do you mean by that? Eldergue asked, somewhat irritated. Just then, Lin Zixiao's eyes narrowed slightly, and with a cold snort, he used his mana and said, The friend from behind, you've heard quite enough. Shouldn't you reveal yourself now? Upon hearing this, Qin Ming was shocked, about to get up to escape. But, from behind a distant rock, a green-robed old man slowly walked out, his face withered. He chuckled at Lin Zixiao, saying, It's me, just a coincidence. Why are you here? Lin Zixiao asked blandly. The green-robed old man gave an embarrassed smile, glancing at Eldergue. I've been ordered to pursue the Spirit Feather Sect people, so I followed. Hearing this, Eldergue looked displeased. From the attire, the man was actually a Foundation establishment elder from the Divine Herbal Sect, and he asked Lin Zixiao, Aren't you going to explain this? One of us, Lin Zixiao replied tersely. Qin Ming didn't expect that even within the Divine Herbal Sect, there were insiders planted. The 3 were indeed birds of a feather. After that, the few exchanged for a while on the spot, seemingly reaching some kind of consensus. After the conversation ended, the 3 departed in 3 different directions. At this point, Qin Ming let out a long sigh of relief. Luckily, I wasn't exposed. Unexpectedly, he stumbled upon such a secret here. It seems the 7 great powers have long been infiltrated by demonic cultivators. They're not impregnable after all. However, Qin Ming was just about to activate his spiritual light shuttle to leave this place. Suddenly, a strong surge of qi and blood unexpectedly transmitted a powerful aura reaction throughout his body. He clearly felt three killing intents locking onto him. Qin Ming's hair stood on end, and without hesitation, he immediately drove his mana to set the shuttle accelerating away. Whoosh! Behind him, Lin Zixiao and Elder Gu, three Foundation Establishment stage great cultivators, pursued relentlessly. Be careful, all of you. Do not underestimate fellow Daoist Qin. He must have something extraordinary on him. Be careful of capsizing a gutter, Lin Zixiao transmitted through sound while in pursuit. Elder Gu disdainfully replied, No need to fear excessively. That boy just has a few thunders. I've dealt with him before. As long as you guard against it, there's no issue. Upon hearing this, Lin Zixiao nodded and immediately activated a magical artifact that could foretell good or bad luck. The feedback result, however, greatly surprised him. Something's wrong. Fellow Daoist Qin absolutely has something strange on him. It's still wise to be cautious. Hearing Lin Zixiao's seriousness, both Elder Gu and the green-robed elder put themselves on high alert. After all, they were well aware of Lin Zixiao's strength. In the sky near Qingyang Market, a blue escape light streaked rapidly, with three other escape lights gradually closing the distance. In Lin Zixiao's pale hand, a pitch-black oil lamp emerged. He formed a technique with his fingers, pointed, and countless black fumes emerged from the lamp-shaped magical artifact, weaving into a massive net. This net emanated an aura that caused one's heart spirit to sink, spreading towards Qin Ming's back. Qin Ming, alarmed, didn't hesitate any longer and threw two thunders towards the black net. Rumbling, a series of earth-shattering explosions erupted behind him. Qin Ming had used up two thunders, barely blocking Lin Zixiao's strange method. The black giant net was blasted open, creating a large hole, and Elder Gu and the green-robed elder rushed out of the thick smoke in disarray. Damn it! How can this boy possess so many thunders? Elder Gu's face darkened, his gaze fixed fiercely on Qin Ming, forming a sword technique in his hands. A crimson Dharma sword appeared before him, transforming into a streak of light, flashing straight towards Qin Ming. Qin Ming turned around, his gaze cold as a blue Dharma sword appeared in his hand. He formed a sword technique and pointed backward. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, numerous dazzling blue sword auras erupted, slashing towards the rear. Clang! This was precisely the cyan nether sword technique that Qin Ming had painstakingly practiced for 3 years. The cyan nether sword aura that Qin Ming slashed out directly blocked Elder Gu's move. Cyan nether sword? Did you kill Elder Jiang's son? Elder Gu appeared in disbelief. Just as he finished speaking, the three pursuers discovered that Qin Ming had stopped not far ahead. Ha ha ha, why aren't you running? The green-robed elder laughed darkly. Could it be you've chosen a good feng shui spot? Elder Gu also revealed a playful smile. In reality, he was secretly vigilant, having some uncertainty about the opponent. How could someone with late-stage qi cultivation openly withstand his magical attack? Could this still be the spirit farmer who used to cower before him back then? Even if someone said this boy had been possessed by a Foundation Establishment old monster, he would believe it now. Elder Gu, you're not wrong, Qin Ming said with a half-smile, then continued. However, it's selected for you all. Have you ever seen Golden Rain? What? The three were taken aback upon hearing this. With that said, a purple leaf appeared in Qin Ming's palm. The leaf formed from the spell duplication entry. The spell replicated on it was the strongest strike ever made by Huang Fuqi, a top 10 Foundation Establishment powerhouse in the Wei country's cultivation realm. Qin Ming gently tapped the purple leaf, sending it towards the three. What is this? Lin Zixiao, Elder Gu, and the green-robed elder simultaneously sensed a breathtaking aura. The next moment, they only felt a blur in front of their eyes. The three were instantly submerged and engulfed by an expanse of vast golden ocean. Crackling, rumbling, Elder Gu's eyes showed astonishment and fear as his consciousness plunged into endless darkness. The green-robed elder of the divine herbal sect was left frozen in disbelief. His ears buzzed as he too fell into a dark abyss. Suddenly, the area encompassing several hundred feet around them was covered by countless golden lightning rain, with thunder and lightning raging, the power terrifying to the extreme. A giant golden thunder, sword woven from lightning, descended from the thundercloud, turning all living beings below into ashes. Divine sword thunder attracting technique, truly the strongest strike. Qin Ming looked ahead with an indifferent gaze, a surge of heroic spirit suddenly welling up within him. Midair, a staggering figure suddenly shifted out of the range of the thunder. Lin Zixiao spat out a large mouthful of blood, his body covered in blood, charred inside and out by the strikes, his eyes revealing deep fear. He was deeply shaken, full of lingering fear. If it weren't for the substitution technique, he would probably have turned into ashes like the other two on the spot. Lin Zixiao looked back deeply at Qin Ming, dragging his severely injured body, transformed into a black escape light, and disappeared. Qin Ming was shocked at this moment. He's not dead. He just saw Lin Zixiao in the thunder, suddenly turning into a burning paper figure. Then he instantly escaped beyond the range of the magical attack. His methods were truly beyond comprehension. Qin Ming used his divine thought, scanning the area where the fight just took place. He was frustrated to find, just under that strike, Elder Gu and the old man in the green robe, along with their storage pouches, were blasted to smithereens. Qin Ming curled his lips. Alas, what a pity. The commotion here was not small. Probably many people would come soon. He had finally avenged Elder Gu, this old guy, feeling an unprecedented exhilaration in his chest. Also managed to conclude a segment of history. Qin Ming immediately continued to urge the flying shuttle and disappeared from the spot. What happened? What was that golden thunder just now? So terrifying. Could someone be undergoing a tribulation? What are you thinking? Thunder tribulation only comes when breaking through to the golden core stage. The cultivators near Qingyang Market looked up at the sky, all in shock and suspicion. Qin Ming, piloting the flying shuttle, as he passed by Qingyang Market, the scenery here was already a complete change from his memory. The once bustling market had now become a wasteland. Everywhere were broken walls, filled with the smell of blood. The once iconic buildings like Mingxin Tower and Jushuan Pavilion were also crumbled to the ground. The spirit fields surrounding Qingyang Market were also plundered, full of ruins. Qin Ming's cool small residence was also flattened by spells. Even the original 2 acres of medicinal fields were blasted into a big pit. Alas, he sighed to himself. If it weren't for his hard work in farming and collecting entries, reaching his current late-stage Qi cultivation level, and having several powerful trump cards, he might have been swept up in this chaos, whether alive or dead. Amid the ruins of Qingyang Market, the air was filled with a bloody smell. Only a few loose cultivators were cleaning up the battlefield. The cultivators of the 7 great powers and Spirit Feather Sect had vanished. Probably they've all gone to join forces to besiege Spirit Feather Sect. As for how they are doing in that conflict, that's none of his business. Qin Ming ceased to watch and continued urging the flying shuttle to quickly leave. Half an hour later, Qin Ming returned to Yunmeng Mountain. He was now an honorary guest elder of Mirror Snow Pavilion, and the guards immediately saluted him and let him pass. Walking through the verdant bamboo forest, Qin Ming went straight to the outside of Gu Qingzhao's cave mansion. After sending her a message, the external restriction dispersed, and Gu Qingzhao, gracefully attired, came out with elegance in her movement, exuding an air of poise. "Fellow Taoist Qin, you're back so soon?" Gu Qingzhao's voice was calm as water, clear as a bell. "It's good that you returned safely." In these past 2 days, she had already been informed of everything that happened outside, with a faint hint of worry. Qin Ming smiled free-spiritedly. "Indeed, but Qingyang Market was destroyed. I can't help but stay here for a few days." "No problem. I'll have someone arrange a fine guest room for fellow Taoist Qin. You can rest assured and stay here." Needless to say, no matter how chaotic it is outside, no one dares to cause trouble here. Guqing Zhao's face was serene, speaking with an undeniable confidence. Qin Ming had no doubt about this. After all, he had personally witnessed the awe-inspiring Taoist techniques of one of the three great guardians of Mirror Snow Pavilion, Huang Fuqi. Ordinary foundation establishment cultivators were certainly not an equal match for him. This is what you call a true big shot. Then, Guqing Zhao warmly invited Qin Ming into the cave mansion to have some tea. The decor there was extremely elegant, antique, simple yet elegant in its simplicity. Guqing Zhao moved gently, leisurely making a cup of spirit mist tea for Qin Ming. "Please, fellow Taoist Qin." Qin Ming smiled slightly, raised the teacup, and took a sip. "By the way, fellow Taoist Ge, how's the current situation on the battlefield?" Guqing Zhao seemed to have expected his question, her voice sweet and melodious as she said, "To tell the truth, fellow Taoist Qin, you left Spirit Feather Sect just in time, otherwise you might have been caught up in the next battle." The next battle? Qin Ming was utterly puzzled. Guqing Zhao slowly explained, "Just last night, Yuan Hong of Spirit Feather Sect secretly completed the Golden Core Thunder Tribulation, breaking through to the Golden Core stage. Although Mirror Snow Pavilion had long been aware, grasping some clues, they didn't expect him to actually succeed. Didn't the people from his 7 great powers stop him?" Qin Ming couldn't help but wonder. Guqing Zhao nodded and replied, "Yuan Hong is truly a brilliant and extraordinary individual, with a gold element celestial spirit root for core formation. When facing the Thunder Tribulation, naturally, no one dared to approach. This is destiny, the general trend. Next, Spirit Feather Sect will establish itself around that Tier 3 spirit vein, enhancing its overall strength to a higher level. Soon, they will rival Thunder Origin Sect in the cultivation world of Wei Country." Qin Ming listened, clicking his tongue silently. It seems Spirit Feather Sect was not only meant to survive, but instead rose from the ashes to prosper. Two tigers cannot share one mountain, so more intense clashes will erupt between the two factions. Those who once kicked Spirit Feather Sect while they were down will likely have a tough time in the future. After talking with Guqing Zhao for a long time, Qin Ming returned to the guest room arranged for him. Taking out the items obtained from the ruins from his storage pouch, he began to study them intently. First was the Beast Hide Scripture, recording the subsequent cultivation techniques of the 100 Treasures Glaze Scripture. Currently, Qin Ming had already cultivated the technique to the 8th layer, and after reaching the 9th layer, he could externalize the True Gang. Further on, he would achieve physical foundation establishment, with his True Qi blood spirit further transforming into the legendary True Gang Transformation Realm. However, after reaching physical foundation establishment, the requirement for spiritual materials to enhance Qi and blood would be of a higher grade and much larger quantity. Even top-grade blood, locust rice, may not meet the cultivation requirements. Qin Ming would need to seek higher-grade spirit plants. Currently, he was still some distance from reaching the 9th layer, so he wasn't in a hurry to cultivate. The top-grade blood, locust rice, was sufficient to support his cultivation to the 9th layer perfection of the 100 Treasures Glaze Scripture. Qin Ming put away the Beast Hide Scripture. Then he took out the jade bottle containing the blue spirit flame and studied it for a while. Searching through the available materials and books, he found no records related to this kind of spirit flame. Qin Ming had no choice but to put it away for now, to verify and understand it later. Then, he took out a long scroll map, spreading it flat on the table. A series of scenic paintings of mountains and rivers unfolded before Qin Ming's eyes. Next, Qin Ming needed to consider where to start farming again. The map in Qin Ming's hand was purchased from Guqing Zhao. It cost him a full 100 spirit stones. After all, such a comprehensive map is rare in the market. Not only does it depict the geographical features, but it also records the cultural products, climate, and spirit vein distributions clearly. This map has been updated and perfected over time by Mirror Snow Pavilion. The map is very large, covering not only the Wei Country but also the surrounding Jin Country, Wu Country, and Liang country. The four countries are in a standoff like the corners of a square, with Wei country at the southernmost part. Qin Ming carefully focused his gaze, looking at the smallest mark at the southernmost part of Wei country, Qingyang Market. Then he looked northward. The junction of the four countries is divided by a gigantic mountain range in an X shape. This is the Beast Roar mountain range, rumored to be full of dangers, with various demon beasts appearing endlessly, even including Tier 3 great demons. At every passable entrance to the mountain range, there are fortresses and cultivation markets set up along the way. These scattered markets link together like a path, eventually pointing to a major city at the intersection of the four countries, clearly marked with the four large red characters, Vast Sea, Immortal City. This is the sacred land for independent cultivators. Within the four countries of Wei, Jin, Liang, and Wu, there are golden core ancestors who suppress everything, serving as the peak combat force. Other powers have to bow their heads in submission. Even the sources of Foundation establishment pills are monopolized by them, with major sects enjoying the benefits, while many loose cultivators struggle to survive, unable to even get scraps. Because this place belongs to the ungoverned area, and with the rich resources backed by the Beast Roar mountain range, it has rapidly become the center of transactions for loose cultivators. Later on, Master Vast Sea successfully formed a golden core here as a loose cultivator and established a cultivation city, attracting the settlement of various forces, including Tier 2 alchemists, who, as long as they have the raw materials, have the capability to refine Foundation establishment pills. So to speak, Vast Sea Immortal City is also the only place where many loose cultivators might obtain Foundation establishment pills, thus regarded as a sacred land for loose cultivators. According to Guqing Zhao, the largest branch of Mirror Snow Pavilion is set in Vast Sea Immortal City, and her destination for this trip is also there. Learning from this lesson, he naturally won't go to such a place filled with all walks of life. Moreover, inside the Immortal City, there are golden core masters whose powerful divine senses can uncover some secrets. It's definitely not an ideal choice for farming, browsing entries, and cultivating the ancient wood longevity technique. His current cultivation principle is to avoid conflict, grow steadily, farm, and manage, transforming it into his strength. Such a place, entangled with complex forces and frequent disputes, is not suitable for excessive involvement. Over the years, Qin Ming has continuously gathered a lot of intelligence from Guqing Zhao and has researched the territory of Wei country extensively, having already formed a plan in his mind. His gaze continued to move northward, finally landing on a place called Spirit Nest Islands. This is a massive archipelago with many rivers and lakes interwoven into a dense water network. These water networks connect at the junction of the four countries. This Spirit Nest Islands fall under the jurisdiction of the Zhao clan, a cultivation family. The Zhao clan is one of the 3 cultivation families in Wei country's 7 great powers, each with fake pill stage masters. The spirit rice and spirit fish produced here are renowned far and wide. They are immortal mansion delicacies often found in many restaurants. However, Spirit Nest Islands only have Tier 1 spirit veins, and Tier 2 spirit veins are relatively rare and scattered, so some major powers don't fancy this place. They have no interest in competing for resources here. It's just right for him to develop steadily by farming. Qin Ming plans to wait until he breaks through to the perfection of the Qi refining stage before going to Vast Sea Immortal City to pursue the matter of acquiring a Foundation establishment pill. The waters of Spirit Nest Islands flow northward, leading into a constant eerie fog, even impenetrable to the divine sense of the gold core stage, with no return for those entering it. It is rumored that beyond the mysterious fog and further north is the great Jin Immortal Dynasty that Su Yuqing mentioned before leaving a richer land for cultivation. And within it exists the nascent soul, true monarchs only seen in books who unify the four countries. Now that Qin Ming has achieved the requirements for the spiritual consciousness barrier and Qi blood barrier, only the final barrier remains, which is the mana barrier. With his pseudo-4 affinity, without fully cultivating the supreme wood dharma body, and without a foundation establishment pill. Even with the foundation establishment spiritual object, celestial fire spirit liquid, obtained from fellow Taoist Feng, the probability of failure in foundation establishment is still high. This time heading to the Spirit Nest Islands, he naturally intends to rent spirit fields of Tier 2 or above spirit veins. As a Tier 2 spirit plant master, it is already sufficient for him. He will plant his life-bound spirit plant and cultivate the ancient wood longevity technique. Naturally, the higher the grade of the spirit vein, the better. Since he cannot find a better place at present, a Tier 2 spirit vein is something he can reluctantly accept. After all, his life-bound spirit plant, Black Vine, does not require a high-growth environment in spirit veins, as long as there is a blood pearl. Of course, if there's a chance later, he should still provide it with a spirit vein of better quality. That will be the icing on the cake. Additionally, Qin Ming's development in Spirit Nest Islands is not very far from Vast Sea Immortal City. He will still maintain close contact with Gu Qingzhao. To a certain extent, she is now a key link for Qin Ming to obtain high-level information in the Cultivation Realm. She is also an important part of his network. Having decided on his future destination, Qin Ming took out a spirit storage pill and began to cultivate in meditation. The next day, Qin Ming found Gu Qingzhao and stated his intended destination. Spirit Nest Islands? Gu Qingzhao showed a hint of surprise, but then said it's actually a good choice for fellow Taoist Qin to develop in Spirit Nest Islands. It's not far from us, and we can look out for each other. Moreover, the spiritual soil there is fertile, also quite suitable for fellow Taoist Qin to plant spirit plants. Speaking of which, does fellow Taoist Qin know why it's called Spirit Nest Islands? Gu Qingzhao smiled slightly, with a hint of testing in her question. Qin Ming revealed a wry smile. Forgive my ignorance, but I don't know the reason for the time being. It's rumored that when these islands first formed, a type of bird accidentally brought spirit seeds from spirit rice from somewhere, which fell into the islands and grew into a previously unknown Tier 2 middle-grade spirit rice. It can significantly enhance the mana cultivation of the foundation establishment stage, was extremely rare, and was named spirit nesting rice. This spirit rice was once a sensation, but unfortunately, no one was able to cultivate it, and it gradually disappeared. Nowadays, it's nearly impossible to see, Gu Qingzhao explained with regret. Qin Ming realized, I see, I didn't expect there to be such a story. By the way, the Dharma ship of our pavilion will set out in 2 days. Does fellow Taoist Qin need to prepare anything? Gu Qingzhao asked. Qin Ming shook his head. Everything is ready on my side. I can set off any time. On the journey to Vast Sea Immortal City, it will take quite some time, and our pavilion will hold an auction on the ship. Then fellow Taoist Qin can participate, Gu Qingzhao said slowly. Of course, if fellow Taoist Qin has any items to sell, you can also entrust me to auction them on your behalf. Qin Ming pondered for a moment. This trip to the Spirit Nest Islands required leasing a Tier 2 island spirit field, which would likely cost a significant amount. So he took out the bark of the Tier 2 spirit plant red, silver, yellow hemp, and a bottle of top-grade marrow cleansing pill from his storage pouch and placed them in front of Gu Qingzhao. Originally, Qin Ming intended to use that bottle of top-grade marrow cleansing pill himself, but an entry for mana crystal appeared, allowing him to break through to the late-stage Qi cultivation. He didn't need so many tier-breaking pills for the late-stage Qi cultivation. I'll entrust these 2 items to fellow Taoist Gu for auction, he said. Gu Qingzhao curiously opened the jade bottle, glanced inside, and her eyes instantly sparkled with a bright light, a strong expression of delight emerging between her dark eyebrows. It's actually a top-grade marrow cleansing pill. These 2 items from fellow Taoist Qin could be considered the finale of the auction. Qin Ming smiled. Seeing Gu Qingzhao's reaction, he felt a sense of allure beyond words. It seems fellow Taoist Qin has truly inherited Master Su's teachings. I believe once fellow Taoist Qin establishes his foundation, it won't be long before he becomes a Tier 2 alchemist. Having dual Tier 2 skills is rare, even in the entire cultivation realm of Wei country. Good Qin Zhao smiled slightly and praised Qin Ming. Qin Ming waved his hand. Ah, fellow Taoist Gu praises me too much. My spirit root aptitude is low. Foundation establishment is a distant task. I don't think so. Fellow Taoist Qin has great potential. Establishing your foundation is just a matter of time. Good Qin Zhao replied with a playful smile. Qin Ming smiled wryly at her words. 3 days later, a giant Dharma ship, even larger than the Spirit Feather Sect's crossing abyssal Dharma ship, slowly docked in front of the Yunming Mountain Gate. The ship's cabin had 5 floors, with 3 tower pavilions outside, accommodating thousands of cultivators. Like a primordial giant beast, Qin Ming appeared extremely tiny standing beneath it. To afford such a golden devouring giant beast, only the Mirror Snow Pavilion could do so, and each voyage surely consumed a substantial amount of spirit stones. At this moment, in the distant sky, countless escape lights flew in this direction. These cultivators have all bought tickets to leave the Yunzhou wilderness with us, Good Qin Zhao said casually, standing beside Qin Ming. None wanted to be entangled in this major power conflict. Mirror Snow Pavilion guards began verifying the boarding jade scrolls one by one before allowing passage. The number of cultivators gathered grew, with several thousand arriving just in the morning. Aren't you worried about unsavory individuals among them? Qin Ming asked in curiosity. Good Qin Zhao chuckled. Even if there were such individuals, as long as they're willing to pay spirit stones, I would still welcome them. There's no need for fellow Taoist Qin to worry. The safety on board is quite reliable. Seeing her confidence, Qin Ming felt much relieved and accepted her invitation to board the Dharma ship. By the initial quarter of the hour at 3 p.m., all cultivators were on board. The massive Dharma ship started slowly, while Qin Ming and Good Qin Zhao stood by the railing on the 3rd floor of the ship. Watching Yunming Mountain gradually disappear from their view, a sudden inexplicable sense of melancholy surged in Qin Ming's heart. He never imagined that one day he would return when he first arrived in this wilderness. Fellow Taoist Qin, come inside for a cup of spirit tea, Good Qin Zhao invited, seemingly accustomed to such a life, showing a carefree attitude. Qin Ming let go of his sentimental thoughts, nodded, and followed her into a luxurious suite on the upper 3 floors. Originally, he requested a regular room, but she still arranged a premium accommodation for him. The room was incredibly spacious with an excellent view, offering a scenic outlook through the window. 3 days later, in the banquet hall on the 4th floor of the Dharma ship, more than 100 cultivators were seated. Most who could enter had considerable strength, being Qi cultivation stage cultivators. There were also 4 or 5 foundation establishment stage cultivators, with their mana auras faintly hidden among the crowd. Soon after, the auction on the Mirror Snow Pavilion's Dharma ship began. Qin Ming and Good Qin Zhao sat in a private box, enjoying pastries delivered by attendants while observing the venue below. Welcome, fellow Taoists, to this auction. I can only say that there will be substantial items featured at this auction, and it certainly won't disappoint anyone here. A middle-aged cultivator in black robes stepped onto the central platform to warm up the crowd. First up is the first auction item. 2 bottles of pills were brought onto the platform by an attendant. The middle-aged cultivator gently uncorked one of the bottles, releasing a captivating aroma of pills. A deep blue spirit pill appeared in everyone's sight. It's the spirit storage pill that can increase mana in the mid to late Qi cultivation stage. I suppose there's no need for me to further introduce this spirit pill. Among all Qi cultivation stage mana-enhancing pills, none surpass the effectiveness of this one. Just as he finished speaking, the atmosphere heated up. Is it really the spirit storage pill? Who crafted this wonder? It's rumored the spirit storage pill is incredibly challenging to refine. Ordinary alchemists dare not attempt it. The crowd reacted fervently. The middle-aged cultivator raised his hand and cleared his throat. Spirit storage pill, 5 pills per bottle. Starting bid at 400 spirit stones. Each increase must be no less than 10 spirit stones. The bidding began. I bid 420, 450, 480, 500. Qin Ming hadn't expected the spirit storage pill he sold to Gu Qingzhao to be so popular. He sold it for 450 spirit stones per bottle back then. Now, after rounds of bidding, the price soared beyond 500 spirit stones. Why do I feel like I've lost out, he mused. In the private box, Gu Qingzhao glanced at Qin Ming and couldn't help but smile slightly. 550. The bidding continued. 580. Clearly, the cultivators understood the scarcity of this pill and bid fervently, knowing the opportunity wouldn't last. All right, 580 going once. 580 going twice. 580 going thrice. Sold. After a fierce competition, the second bottle of spirit storage pill was also sold for over 500 spirit stones. Next, the second auction item. An attendant brought another item onto the platform. The middle-aged cultivator unveiled a cyan dharma robe to the audience. A high-grade cyan spirit robe, offering both defensive and acceleration effects, capable of withstanding a full force strike from a late-stage Qi cultivation. Starting bid at 500 spirit stones. I bid 600. As each auction item was sold for high prices, the auction house approached its conclusion. An attendant cautiously presented a delicate jade bottle. The middle-aged cultivator eagerly uncorked it, releasing a burst of azure spirit charm. The fragrance of the pill filled the air. Now, the first finale item of this auction. Tear-breaking pill, top grade. Marrow, cleansing pill. Starting bid, 2,000 spirit stones per piece. Boom! The venue erupted into unprecedented excitement. Finally, the top-grade marrow cleansing pill was auctioned off at the high price of 5,000 spirit stones each. After all, for some families and cultivators, breaking through to the late-stage Qi cultivation is a huge hurdle, like a mountain standing before them. With an opportunity like this, they would spare no expense to win it. With Mirror Snow Pavilion taking a 10% commission, Qin Ming's net income for this batch was over 20,000 spirit stones, and he was overjoyed. The auction continued to blaze on. Next is the second-to-last highlight item of this auction. 2 bundles of bark emitting a faint red glow were brought onto the stage. Tier 2 spirit plant, red, silver, yellow hemp. The raw material for crafting high-tier talisman paper. Starting price, 800 spirit stones per bundle. Each bid increment must be no less than 50 spirit stones. The middle-aged auctioneer had just finished speaking. The talisman masters present began to bid frantically, as high-tier rune masters are quite wealthy within the cultivation group. I offer 1,200 spirit stones. I offer 1,500 spirit stones. 2,000 spirit stones. The 2 bundles of silver leaf yellow hemp were finally sold for 2,000 spirit stones per bundle, and after deducting commissions, Qin Ming's net income was 2,800 spirit stones. The next item is the most significant highlight of this auction. Also the last highlight item. The middle-aged auctioneer introduced it passionately. Then 2 exquisite jade boxes appeared on the central stage. The middle-aged cultivator gently opened one of the jade boxes, revealing 2 peculiarly red spirit fruits the size of eggs, radiating astonishing spiritual qi in the eyes of the audience. Tier 2 top-grade divine essence fruit. The spiritual qi preserved perfectly. Starting bid, 3,000 spirit stones per fruit. Each bid increment must be no less than 100 spirit stones. Wow, my goodness! Mirror Snow Pavilion's grand gesture. It turns out to be the main material for crafting Tier 2 pills. Which spirit plant master cultivated this? With the appearance of this fruit, the foundation establishment, great cultivators hidden among the audience could no longer remain seated. This fruit is something I must obtain. An obese elder with flaming red hair stood up and said gruffly, his gaze fixed intently on the fruits on the stage. The power of the early-stage foundation establishment peak unmistakably emanated from him. I, Red Peak Taoist, offer 4,000 spirit stones. Around him, the cultivators fell silent, not daring to speak further, possibly fearing retribution even if they won the item. An elderly person in ragged clothes with dark, withered skin also stood up, showing disdain on his face, and said, "I say, Red Peak Old Ghost, if you don't have the spirit stones, don't show off foolishly. I don't buy your tricks." Then he called out softly, 5,000 spirit stones. Since it's so lively, I'll offer 5,500 spirit stones. A man built like a tower spoke up. 6,000 spirit stones. 6,500 spirit stones. Ultimately, the two top-grade divine essence fruits were sold for 6,500 spirit stones each. After the commission deduction, Qin Ming took home 9,100 spirit stones. The auction concluded. In the private box above, Good Qin Zhao looked at Qin Ming with a smile and asked, "Fellow Taoist Qin, you've netted nearly 30,000 spirit stones from this sale. Would you prefer low-grade spirit stones, or should I have them exchanged for middle-grade spirit stones for you?" Qin Ming thought for a moment. "Then let me have 150 middle-grade spirit stones, and the rest can be in low-grade spirit stones." Good Qin Zhao nodded. He then ordered someone to deliver the corresponding spirit stones. Qin Ming waved his hand, happily stowing them all into his storage pouch. He experienced a taste of the prosperous life. However, this was a part of the results from his 3 years of tireless cultivation and hard work. Only the divine essence fruit was ripened using the entry. The saying goes, 3 years in preparation, then thriving for 3 years. This is precisely the case. Once mastered, alchemy ensures you're never short of spirit stones. Fellow Taoists, why didn't you auction the 5-colored spirit rice I sold to you before? Qin Ming asked in confusion. Good Qin Zhao smiled warmly and replied, "I'm planning to take the 5-colored spirit rice back to Vast Sea, Immortal City. When the tavern opens, it will rely on fellow Taoist Qin's 5-colored rice to make its name famous." Haha, fellow Taoists, good jokes. Mirror Snow Pavilion's reputation hardly needs boosting. It's already widely renowned. Qin Ming smiled gently. More than 10 days passed. Qin Ming stood on the deck at the bow, gazing at the scenery outside alone. His mind was filled with thoughts. The deck was crowded with people who had been inside too long and came out for fresh air. At this moment, a pair of young-looking cultivators appeared on the deck near Qin Ming. If we hadn't heard that Spirit Feather Sect was recruiting large numbers of loose cultivators to fight against the barbarians, not only could we earn a lot of spirit stones, but there was also the opportunity to be rewarded with Foundation establishment pills. I wouldn't have impulsively decided to bring you to such a harsh place to suffer. The young male cultivator, with clear features, was about 23 or 24 years old in the Qi Cultivation 6th layer. This time, not only did we fail to earn spirit stones, but in order to board the Mirror Snow Pavilion's Dharma ship to return, we spent all our savings. At this moment, he faced the young woman with a guilty expression. You don't need to blame yourself. No one expected the situation in the Yunza wilderness to change so drastically. There is a saying, as long as the Cyan Mountain remains, there's no fear of running out of firewood. As long as we're still here, spirit stones can always be earned back. The young woman had delicate features, a sweet temperament, a graceful figure, and slightly lower cultivation, being in the Qi Cultivation 5th layer. Ina, you're so kind. The young cultivator was immediately moved and reached out to hold her gentle hand. Standing beside them, Qin Ming, who was single, suddenly got goosebumps. He couldn't stand such a scene, so he prepared to leave. But just then, a word from the young cultivator stopped him in his tracks. Alas, I bragged to people in the clan about earning big money, and now returning to Spirit Nest Islands like this, I'm truly unwilling. The guys from a neighboring Beats Out Island will no doubt mock us again. The young woman comforted him. Don't worry too much about what others think. Spirit Nest Islands? These two are actually locals here. Though Qin Ming had learned quite a bit about Spirit Nest Islands from Guqin Zhao lately, meeting locals allowed for more detailed inquiries into specific details. Qin Ming walked over directly, wearing a smile on his face, and greeted the two by cupping his hands. Greetings, fellow Taoists. I heard you seem to be cultivators from Spirit Nest Islands. I'm also planning to go to Spirit Nest Islands, and I'd like to inquire about the situation there. The couple exchanged glances. Seeing that someone in the late-stage Qi cultivation approached them, they couldn't be disrespectful. They promptly returned the gesture. Well, it's possible to provide information, but the young male cultivator coughed lightly, subtly rubbing his fingers. Qin Ming understood instantaneously and laughed, saying, I know the rules. Please follow me back to my room for a cup of spirit tea and discussion. With that, the couple followed Qin Ming's invitation to the luxurious suite on the third floor. Upon entering, they were immediately dazed by the room's lavish decor. The outside sound was also sealed off, clearly equipped with a soundproof restriction. The young couple glanced at each other wide-eyed, unable to comprehend how a plainly-looking cultivator could afford such an expensive room. Their perception of Qin Ming rose a notch instantly. After the two of them entered the room, they appeared somewhat uneasy, a bit at a loss with themselves. Clearly, they had been in a cramped room below deck for too long and were not used to it. At the same time, the young cultivator quietly observed Qin Ming. He couldn't help but feel a bit apprehensive, not expecting the other party to have such an unusual status. He was probably a big shot. He was well-versed in the social intricacies of the cultivation realm and could easily guess the identity of the person before him. If not for concealing cultivation, he would certainly be a guest of honor at the Mirror Snow Pavilion. Qin Ming finished boiling the spiritual spring water, prepared the spirit mist tea for the two, and after pouring the tea, he said, No need to stand on ceremony, the two of you. Let's just chat for a while. Please have some tea first. The young cultivator cautiously accepted the spirit tea from Qin Ming's hand, took a sip, savored it for a moment, and exclaimed, Good tea. Then he introduced himself to Qin Ming. I am Wu Jiang, and this is my Dao companion, Mu Ruyan. I wonder what questions fellow Daoists might have. I dare not boast, but I'm quite knowledgeable about various news and secret channels concerning the Spirit Nest Islands. Moreover, I would like to ask, given that you reside here, your status must not be simple either, fellow Daoist. Qin Ming was slightly surprised, not expecting the other to be a local know-it-all, which indeed suited his purposes. You are too kind, fellow Daoist. I am Qin Ming, just a spirit plant cultivator. This time, I am heading to the Spirit Nest Islands to find a quiet place, to farm, and cultivate diligently. Oh, I see. I didn't expect fellow Daoist Qin to be a spirit plant cultivator. So, have you joined any sect or group? Wu Jiang asked with a look of curiosity. His eyes glanced at the luxurious guest room, seemingly indicating something. Qin Ming honestly replied, I have not joined any forces. Wu Jiang's eyes turned slightly, and then he asked, So, fellow Daoist Qin, do you plan to join a local family upon reaching the Spirit Nest Islands? Many Qi cultivation clans are recruiting spirit plant cultivators all year round, and the benefits are pretty good. To be honest, I don't want to be under someone else's jurisdiction and be bound again. Qin Ming shook his head firmly. So, from what you're saying, you want to rent a cave mansion or a cultivation place on your own? Wu Jiang pondered and asked. Qin Ming nodded. However, I have been a spirit farmer in the Yunzi wilderness long enough, and this time I want to rent a larger piece of land and be a landlord. Now that he had reached the late stage of Qi cultivation, he could naturally farm more spirit fields. A landlord. So fellow Daoist Qin wants to rent a large piece of spirit field. Wu Jiang's mouth twitched slightly, not expecting the other party's spirit stone bag to be so substantial. After speaking, he took a sip of tea. Qin Ming shook his head and said in a smooth tone, Wrong, fellow Daoist Wu. What I mean is, I want to rent an entire island. Wu Jiang spat out a mouthful of tea, almost choking. His Dao companion Mu Ruyan also looked surprised, her small mouth slightly open. Why? Is there something inappropriate, fellow Daoist Wu? Qin Ming couldn't help but smile at the other's huge reaction. Wu Jiang cleared his throat, calmed down a bit, and said, It seems I underestimated you. So fellow Daoist Qin intends to find an unclaimed island and be the Isle Master. In earlier years, perhaps there might have been islands with spirit veins available for rent. But in recent years, most of the islands with Tier 1 spirit veins have already been occupied by various Qi cultivation families and loose cultivators. So news of unclaimed islands has become rare. Moreover, the Zhao family has been reluctant these years to lease out island spirit veins to outside loose cultivators. I'm afraid, upon hearing this news, Qin Ming was somewhat taken aback. With a slight frown, he asked, "What about islands with Tier 2 spirit veins?" Wu Jiang was stunned by this question. The other party's question repeatedly challenged his perception. Not right. Tier 2 spirit vein? Suddenly, a spiritual light flashed through his mind, and he realized where he was sitting. Wu Jiang instantly understood and came to a sudden realization. The fellow Taoist Qin before him must be a respected Tier 2 spirit plant master. With this realization, everything made sense. To think he was considering asking for some guidance fees from the other party? At this thought, he quickly stood up again and made a bow to Qin Ming. So, fellow Taoist Qin is actually a Tier 2 spirit plant master. Forgive our previous impudence. Mu Rin, beside him, was also startled upon hearing this and hurriedly stood up to bow gracefully. Qin Ming waved his hand. "There's no need for such restraint. Please sit down, both of you." The two sat down upon hearing this. Fellow Taoist Qin, to be honest, within the Spirit Nest Islands, islands with Tier 2 spirit veins are very few, mostly managed by the Zhao family's businesses. The rest are occupied by some rather powerful cultivation clans and loose cultivators. I'm afraid they're not easily rented either. Moreover, an entire island would require quite a hefty annual rent in spirit stones. Wu Jiang said this and glanced at Qin Ming's reaction, then added, "However, for a Tier 2 spirit plant master like fellow Taoist Qin, this shouldn't be an issue." Qin Ming frowned slightly, realizing the actual situation of the spirit nest islands greatly differed from what he had anticipated. Not to mention islands with spirit veins, renting an ordinary island even seemed out of reach. That's somewhat disappointing indeed. Qin Ming sighed slightly. If it doesn't work out, he would have to choose from several other alternative destinations. Wu Jiang saw Qin Ming like this, and his mind spun rapidly. Frankly, it was his first time encountering a character like a Tier 2 spirit plant master. Such an opportunity could not be missed. He had carefully observed Qin Ming's speech and demeanor just now, not calling him a gentleman, but he was certainly a person of open mind. Wu Jiang promptly said, "Fellow Taoist Qin, though islands with Tier 2 spirit veins are rare, it's not altogether impossible." "Oh, please continue, fellow Taoist Wu." Qin Ming perked up at these words, seemingly hopeful. Wu Jiang explained, "Fellow Taoist Qin, the islands with Tier 2 spirit veins within the Spirit Nest Islands have a minimum rental term of 10 years. As for the other islands, I'm not quite sure, but a distant relative of mine, when visiting me, once mentioned an island with a Tier 2 spirit vein on the north side of the Spirit Nest Islands. Originally, it was rented by a Qi cultivation clan, the Mo family. Unfortunately, the patriarch Mo died in an accident a few years back, and the Mo family hasn't recovered since. The family's financial situation declined without the patriarch as their backbone, and the remaining family members likely can't support the cost of renting an island with a Tier 2 spirit vein. Also, the island's rental term is about to expire this year. If by then, the Mo family can't pay the spirit stone rent, the Zhao family is very likely to seek someone else. Conveniently, my father is acquainted with someone from the Mo family and can help find out more about the situation." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming fell into thought. There seemed to be a turn of events, but the opportunity wasn't too big. However, after a bit of careful analysis and reflection, he still decided to go and see for himself. Being unfamiliar with the area, he needed a local guide. Then I'd have to trouble fellow Taoist Wu to take me to see what's going on. If things work out, you'd definitely be rewarded plenty, fellow Taoist Wu, Qin Ming said after contemplating for a moment. Heh. Hearing fellow Taoist Qin speak like this, it is my honor to know a Tier 2 spirit plant master. 3 days later, The Dharma ship of the Mirror Snow Pavilion slowly docked. The cultivators on the ship all eagerly poked their heads out, their faces full of excitement. After more than half a month, they finally reached their destination, the sacred land for independent cultivators, the vast sea Immortal City. A towering, majestic city gradually expanded in their view. Even the nearby mountains appeared like mere mounds in comparison to the grand city. The vast sea Immortal City spans thousands of acres, beneath which lies a large Tier 3 high-grade spirit vein. However, not everyone can enjoy the spiritual chi supplied by the Tier 3 high-grade spirit vein. Only a select few high-tier cultivators residing in the center of the city have the privilege to do so. The Tier 3 spirit vein is almost exclusively enjoyed by Golden Core ancestors and masters of the fake pill. Besides, there are several branches of Tier 1 and Tier 2 spirit veins within city. The entire vast sea Immortal City is shrouded under a Tier 3 grand array, emitting a bluish glow of rippling light. Mist enshrouded, immortal chi abundant. Finally back, I'm suffocating. I was almost rotting at the bottom of the ship. I must go to the largest red dust garden in the vast sea Immortal City to relieve my pent-up emotions. I swear I'll never go to the Yunza wilderness again. It's such a damnable trap. On the Dharma ship, countless cultivators transformed into streams of light, eagerly flying towards the Immortal City with their flying spiritual artifacts. Qin Ming came to the deck, standing with his hands behind his back, quietly gazing at the city below. A moment later, Wu Jiang and Mu Rian approached, smiles on their faces, coming to Qin Ming's side. Fellow Taoist Qin, shall we also set off? The Spirit Nest Islands are still a distance away from the vast sea Immortal City. The Mirror Snow Pavilion's Dharma ship can only bring us here. We'll have to travel the remaining distance ourselves. Wu Jiang explained respectfully. Qin Ming chuckled, nodding. Please wait a moment. I need to say farewell to someone, then we'll go to the Spirit Nest Islands together. Fellow Taoist Qin, please go ahead, we'll wait here. Wu Jiang nodded in agreement. At this moment, Gu Qingzhao in white garments, along with shopkeeper Liao, also came out. Gu Qingzhao exuded a cool elegance. She walked slowly to Qin Ming, her starry eyes smiling. 1,000 miles sent, yet we must part. Fellow Taoist Qin, it seems we must separate here. Many thanks to fellow Taoist Gu for the arrangements over these days. Qin is not ungrateful. Qin Ming also smiled slightly. Gu Qingzhao said, what's this little favor worth? After all, fellow Taoist Qin is now an honorary guest elder of our pavilion. Such arrangements are deserved. Whenever you have clarity in mind, I welcome you to formally join our pavilion. I await you in the vast sea Immortal City. Thank fellow Taoist Gu for the kind offer. Once I've settled down, fellow Taoist Gu is also welcome to visit any time, since it's not far, Qin Ming said with a carefree smile. Gu Qingzhao nodded, certainly. Oh, fellow Taoist Qin, what do you mean by this? Not inviting me? Have you forgotten me? Shopkeeper Liao pretended to show a look of dissatisfaction. Ah, how could I? You're always welcome, Shopkeeper Liao. But at the moment, I haven't found a place to settle yet. Qin Ming chuckled as he spoke. If fellow Taoist Qin encounters any difficulty, feel free to find me in the vast sea Immortal City. Gu Qingzhao finished speaking, took out 2 jars of spirit wine and some spirit tea from her storage pouch, and handed them to Qin Ming. Here's a small gift for fellow Taoist Qin's journey. May fellow Taoist Qin's immortal Tao remain ever prosperous. Qin Ming accepted the items, feeling warmth in his heart, and cupped his hands. No need for you two to see me off. Wu Jiang and Mu Rian, watching from the side, were deeply shocked, not expecting the Mirror Snow Pavilion Master to personally bid farewell. Moreover, it seemed there was a deep relationship between the two parties. Fellow Taoist Qin was becoming increasingly mysterious in their hearts. Bidding farewell to Gu Qingzhao, the 3 of Qin Ming embarked on their flying spiritual artifact towards their destination at the Spirit Nest Islands. Initially, the 3's flying speed was quite synchronized. But after half a day, Wu Jiang and Mu Rian's speed noticeably slowed down, completely being left behind by Qin Ming. The difference was not only in mana cultivation. Primarily, the flying spiritual artifact had great disparity. At this flying speed, it would take at least 3 more days to reach the destination. Therefore, Qin Ming simply let them on his spiritual light shuttle. Wu Jiang and Mu Ruyan, riding a top-grade flying spiritual artifact for the first time, revealed excited expressions. Thus, the speed of their journey improved significantly. Wei Country's territory is divided into 12 divisions, under which 360 districts are administered. The Spirit Nest Islands are located at the northernmost border of Jiangbei Dao, shrouded in eerie mist to the north, while the east flows into the East Sea. 1 day later, Qin Ming, riding the spiritual light shuttle, arrived over the Spirit Nest Islands. A vast and boundless expanse of lakes and rivers appeared. Countless islands were scattered like stars. Rivers and streams formed a dense network, with many ships traveling, presenting a picture of boats racing against the current. The lake's surface glimmered, reflecting like blue sky and white clouds, quite different from the Yunza wilderness. Fellow Taoist Qin, we've reached the Spirit Nest Islands. I'd like to invite you to my home. Wu Jiang returned to his hometown, taking a deep breath, and excitedly invited Qin Ming. Though our Wu family isn't a major cultivation family, we occupy a spirit island with a Tier 1 high-grade spirit vein. You can visit if you don't mind. On hearing this, Qin Ming said, "Oh, wasn't it said that the Spirit Nest Islands are under the jurisdiction of the Zhao family cultivation family?" Not only that, before the Zhao family took over these islands, several families and independent cultivators were already living here. The ownership of these islands naturally remained in their hands. Of course, under Zhao family's jurisdiction, the quality of the Spirit Islands naturally improved a bit. For example, our Wu family has lived here for generations over the past century. Red Jade Spirit Island has also been occupied by our clan up till now. I see. Qin Ming nodded thoughtfully. Then, he said to the two, "Fellow Taoists, you go back to your family first. I have some matters to attend to. A fellow Taoist Qin really won't visit my humble abode?" Wu Jiang was momentarily anxious. Qin Ming smiled casually. No need to worry, fellow Taoist Wu. I'm just going to browse around the Celestial River Market nearby. Give me a message tomorrow. Seeing Qin Ming's determination, Wu Jiang reluctantly said, "All right, fellow Taoist Qin, I have to return to my clan. I'll meet with fellow Taoist Qin tomorrow." After saying that, Wu Jiang and Mu Ruyan each activated their flying spiritual artifacts, bidding farewell to Qin Ming. Qin Ming gazed at a spirit island below and propelled his mana towards it. The Celestial River Market doesn't belong to Zhao family's industry. It was built by the many local Qi cultivation clans of the Spirit Nest Islands, who have long been exchanging resources here, attracting many outsiders and independent cultivators, expanding the market gradually. The Celestial River Market is situated on a Tier 2 middle-grade spirit vein island. The island covers over 10,000 acres. The market is quite popular. At this moment, it was already crowded. Qin Ming drove the spiritual light shuttle and descended down. This fellow Taoist, upon entering the market for the first time, "You need to pay 2 spirit stones," the guard at the market entrance said respectfully, seeing Qin Ming at the late-stage Qi cultivation. Qin Ming paid spirit stones to enter the market. This Celestial River Market was also a place he learned about from the map he purchased from Guqin Zhao. Its scale is much smaller than the Qingyang Market. However, the shops inside are quite distinctive, with a complete range of various types of stores. Qin Ming casually stepped into a tavern. "Esteemed guest, is there anything you need? Our shop's Cyan Dragon Spirit Fish is famous far and wide. Would you like to try one?" The server eagerly introduced. Hearing this, Qin Ming became interested. He had long heard that the Spirit Nest Islands produced a type of spirit fish that only exists locally. Its spirit fish soup is quite effective for enhancing mana during the Qi cultivation stage, a rare Immortal Mansion delicacy known as Lesser Cyan Dragon Soup. "How much for this Cyan Dragon Spirit Fish?" Qin Ming inquired. The server, seeing the customer's response, smiled broadly, suspecting Qin Ming to be a wealthy patron, and promptly responded, "The cyan dragon spirit fish is extremely difficult to catch and cannot be artificially bred, so the price is somewhat high. 1 pound of cyan dragon spirit fish costs 180 spirit stones. Evidently, this special fish is not something ordinary cultivators can afford." Then just bring me some regular dishes," Qin Ming said, even though he had plenty of spirit stones and could afford a whole fish banquet. Considering his first time in this place, it was unwise to show off wealth, lest it attracted unwanted attention. Better to stay low-key. As for this spirit fish, he'd try catching one himself another day. Then, Qin Ming swiftly ordered a few dishes. The server chuckled awkwardly, surprised at the swift change of heart once the price was mentioned. Nevertheless, he courteously brewed a pot of tea for Qin Ming and invited him to rest while meal preparations were underway. Moments later, a few local delicacies unique to the Spirit Nest Islands were served, mostly seafood. Priced affordably, ordinary cultivators could enjoy these, unlike the expensive cyan dragon spirit fish. Qin Ming's appetite was sparked, and he picked up his chopsticks to savor the food. Midway through his meal, he overheard cultivators at an adjacent table discussing something. "Hey, did you hear? The Yu family from White Wave Island, who live by fishing, caught a cyan dragon spirit fish king in the Minjiang River Basin yesterday, possessing a hint of flood dragon bloodline. A sight unseen for 100 years. A great cyan dragon soup made from this cyan dragon spirit fish king is said to greatly benefit Foundation establishment cultivation. The Yu family is destined for fortune with this catch. How many spirit stones will this fetch?" Reportedly, a senior at the Foundation establishment stage purchased it on the spot for over 2,000 spirit stones. "How much? Did I mishear? 2,000 spirit stones." Qin Ming, while picking up his food, pondered. Could one fish really sell for 2,000 spirit stones? If he captured a cyan dragon spirit fish and applied the bloodline ancestor entry, would a cyan dragon spirit fish king with flood dragon bloodline emerge? But he quickly dismissed the thought. The spirit plant entries likely only affect spirit plants or himself, right? He shook his head and resumed eating. There's another piece of news. It said that the lease on Mo family's Qingxia Island in the north is about to expire. Now several Qi cultivation clans are eyeing this treasure land hungrily. After all, it's a Tier 2 spirit island. Who wouldn't covet it? Compared to that, I suspect you're more enthralled by the Qingxia Ferry, aren't you? Ha ha ha. Indeed, Mo Lingwei from Qingxia Island is renowned as the #1 beauty of the Spirit Nest Islands. Rumor has it that Qingxia Ferry is going all out to retain the Spirit Island and plans to recruit 2 skilled loose cultivators to jointly lease Qingxia Island. No way. Such an opportunity. Do you think I could stand a chance? Get real. Qingxia Ferry has certain requirements for co-leasers. Not only must they possess a stable spirit stone income, but they must also be recommended by trustworthy individuals with impeccable character. In recent years, some Qi cultivation clans recruited outside honored guest elders, only for rogue elements to make nests, causing family disasters, a situation not occurring for the first time. Qin Ming finished his meal leisurely, having picked up some information. He still planned to conduct an on-site investigation. But before that, Qin Ming planned to dispose of some acquired loot. Following this, he visited 3 or 4 shops in succession, selling off low-tier spiritual artifacts, pills, and cultivation techniques he no longer needed. He earned several thousand spirit stones. Having completed these transactions, Qin Ming settled in an ordinary inn at the market. The next day, Qin Ming finished running through the longevity technique. Then, after breakfast, received a message from Wu Jiang. He promptly informed him of the meeting place. An incense sticks later, Wu Jiang arrived at Qin Ming's room, following the directions. Upon entering, Wu Jiang appeared uneasy, hesitating before speaking. "Fellow Taoist Qin, there's bad news. Your plan to lease an island might prove difficult. I believe you must have heard some news at the market yesterday." It seems Qingxia Fairy Mo Ling Wei is determined to continue leasing the island to others. Qin Ming nodded, then spoke. I'm aware of the situation. However, fellow Taoist Wu, could you escort me to Qingxiao Island for an on-site visit? I wish to make an informed decision. Wu Jiang, previously dejected, brightened up immediately hearing Qin Ming's words, visibly energized. No problem, fellow Taoist Qin. To be honest, I'm a local expert in the Spirit Nest Islands. Even if you're interested in co-leasing Qingxiao Island or discussing business cooperation, I could potentially introduce you. Wu Jiang spoke, patting his chest, implying assurance. Conversation ended. The two left the Celestial River Market and boarded the flying spiritual artifact for the north. Brother Wu, I'm curious about something. Given that the vast sea Immortal City is so close, why venture far out to develop in the Yunzi wilderness? Qin Ming casually asked his inner question. Wu Jiang replied with a wry smile. No need to laugh. Once you experience the vast sea Immortal City, you'll know the harsh competition among loose cultivators at the base of the Cultivation Realm. I wandered within the Immortal City for years, but due to my lack of notable cultivation or skills, achieved little and remained stagnant in cultivation. Typically, opportunities belong to those with strong backgrounds or skills. That life, with a visible endpoint, may be unrelatable for a high-tier spirit plant master like you, fellow Taoist Qin. Hence, I decided to try my luck outside for a chance. Wu Jiang shared, rather emotionally. Brother Wu, you're being too modest. I can empathize. Honestly, a few years ago, I was a mere spirit farmer, struggling for survival too. Only through persistent farming efforts have I reached this point. Qin Ming smiled, offering comfort. He omitted one detail. Besides, he had occasional help from a golden finger. Wu Jiang, upon hearing this, appeared energized. Really? I can't believe fellow Taoist Qin's story is so inspiring. It seems I've become slack. Alas, my Tao heart still lacks resolve. From now on, I'll take fellow Taoist Qin as my role model and learn more from you. Qin Ming chuckled, offering no further comment. 2 hours later, an island shrouded in spiritual mist emerged in their view. On Azure Mist Island, waterfalls cascade like silver chains, green waters ripple, lush trees provide shade, the mountains appear jade-like, the sky is clear, and clouds drift leisurely. The spirit fields, cultivated and distributed in a terraced arrangement, are scattered harmoniously. There are hundreds of acres of fertile fields on the island. In the spirit fields, numerous low-tier spirit farmers labor diligently. These low-tier spirit farmers, noticing someone flying above, raise their heads to watch, eyes filled with envy. Qin Ming looked down at the spirit farmers beneath his feet, letting out a silent sigh. Thinking back, he too was once like them, giving him a feeling of distance from his past. Azure Mist Island truly deserves its Tier 2 middle-grade spiritual vein status. As soon as they entered the island, they felt an abundance of spiritual energy greeting them. A faint azure spiritual mist permeated the air, intertwining with light, flowing like time, hazy yet dreamlike. Qin Ming scanned the island's topography from above, noticing the island is shaped like a pen holder with 3 mountain peaks. Wu Jiang explained beside him. This Azure Mist Island has 3 spirit peaks. The central one is Danxia Peak, offering a Tier 2 middle-grade spiritual vein environment. On either side are Vast Sea Cliff and Sangmu Peak, which have Tier 2 low-grade spiritual vein environments. Qin Ming nodded. Then the two descended onto the mid-mountain of Danxia Peak. At the mountain gate, several Mo family cultivators promptly came out, their expressions cautious, as they approached to inquire, "What business do you two fellow Taoists have on our island?" Wu Jiang explained their purpose. The guard then went inside to convey the message. A moment later, an elder with silver hair emerged, emitting the mana fluctuations of the Qi cultivation 9th layer. "Oh, so it's really little Wu. It's been years. Didn't your father say you went to Yunzi wilderness to seek opportunities? How come you returned so soon?" Wu Jiang, hearing this, blushed slightly, scratching the back of his head awkwardly, saying, "Elder Mo, there was chaos over there, so I returned early." Ha ha ha. Returning is also good. Even if there are opportunities, one must be alive to enjoy them. Elder Mo nodded. He then looked at Qin Ming, whose appearance seemed ordinary, and frowned. "I suppose this young friend is the co-renter you intended to introduce?" Wu Jiang hurriedly nodded. "This is Qin Ming, fellow Taoist Qin, at the later stage of Qi cultivation 8th layer, and he is a Tier 2 spirit plant master." Upon hearing this, Elder Mo's expression discreetly revealed a hint of astonishment, but quickly concealed it. "I didn't expect fellow Taoist Qin to be a Tier 2 spirit plant master. My apologies." Qin Ming returned a salute. "I greet Elder Mo. In that case, please proceed to the main peak for a chat. The Patriarch is already selecting co-renters, and several other fellow Taoists have come for the summons." Saying so, Elder Mo welcomed them inside. The three walked up the winding stone path through the mountains. The woodland path was refreshingly poetic, with lush tea hills on either side, like jade embedded on the island. Numerous cave mansions and courtyards were built along the mountain, secluded in secret realms, away from worldly chaos, with only the gentle echoes of insects and birds in the valleys. Morning light spread over the highest building of the main peak, glistening like a golden edge. Such a fortuitous spirit land, filled with immortal qi, is entrancing. In an instant, Qin Ming made a decisive choice in his heart. Even to co-rent, he must rent a peak here. Cultivating here truly wouldn't be a bad idea. Half an incense sticks later, the three entered the main hall of the mountain peak building. Several people were already seated inside the hall. Upon seeing newcomers enter, all eyes converged on Qin Ming and Wu Jiang. Elder Mo, after entering, reported to a woman seated at the head of the hall. "Patriarch, young friend Wu also introduced fellow Taoist Qin, who is interested in co-renting." Qin Ming's gaze fell on her instantly. He saw a strikingly beautiful woman seated at the main seat, in her 20s, wearing a long blue gauze dress, with a gentle, elegant, and unhurried demeanor. This was Qingxia Fairy, Mo Lingwei. Earlier, on the road, Wu Jiang had mentioned to Qin Ming that Mo Lingwei was at the late stage of Qi cultivation 7th layer. But upon seeing her now, Qin Ming realized she was hiding her true cultivation level. Her actual cultivation was Qi cultivation perfection, just one step away from foundation establishment. If Qin Ming did not possess divine thought comparable to the foundation establishment stage, he too would have difficulty detecting the anomaly. It seemed to be an extremely advanced concealing breath technique. Mo Lingwei smiled gently at Qin Ming. "Greetings, fellow Taoist Qin. Please sit as you wish." Qin Ming found a chair and sat down casually. After that, Mo Lingwei began detailing matters related to co-renting the Spirit Island, including the rent and other arrangements. Her every frown and smile were like a phoenix dancing, lotus flowers blooming. "Now, everyone, please introduce yourselves briefly. I need to consider my choices carefully. Lastly, let me be clear up front. If anyone has ulterior motives, our MO family can terminate the co-leasing agreement at any time." Next, the cultivators present in the hall for co-leasing began introducing themselves one by one. These were cultivators who had passed the MO family's screening to enter the hall. None were average loose cultivators. The first to introduce himself was a middle-aged cultivator named Tang Feng, with a cultivation at the Qi cultivation 8th layer and a Tier 1 high-grade talisman master. This man's background was clean, having worked in vast sea immortal city for over a decade. This time he wanted to rent the island to find a quiet place for contemplation and breakthrough to Tier 2 talisman master. The second to stand and introduce himself was an elderly gentleman in scholar's robes named Duan Haishan, at Qi cultivation 8th layer, and like Qin Ming, also a spirit plant master. However, he was a Tier 1 high-grade spirit plant master, slightly lower in rank than Qin Ming. Next, after 7 or 8 cultivators had introduced themselves, it was finally Qin Ming's turn. Qin Ming stood up, nodded to Mo Lingwei seated at the head, and then began his introduction. When he mentioned his identity as a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master, everyone present was astonished. Does fellow Taoist Qin have a Spirit Plant Master identity token? The elderly gentleman named Duan Haishan appeared conflicted, seemingly not believing someone so young could be a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. He had cultivated spirit plants all his life and had just barely reached Tier 1 high grade. Everyone also looked to Qin Ming, hoping to verify the truth. A Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master would be a valuable guest in any major sect or power. Qin Ming nodded. A wooden token representing his identity as a Spirit Plant Master appeared in his hand, and he infused it with mana. The back of the token, representing a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master, instantly glowed with a green aura. Truly a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master. Such talent at a young age. Fellow Taoist Qin, your achievements are impressive. Duan Haishan, clearing his doubts, stood up and cupped his hands towards Qin Ming. Mo Lingwei felt a wave of emotion surge within her, a flicker of surprise flashing in her beautiful eyes. But quickly, she calmed down with a thoughtful expression. After all introductions were complete, Mo Lingwei softly and gracefully said, "Please wait a moment. Have some spirit tea and rest. I will discuss with the tribal elders and present the final decision shortly." Having said this, Mo Lingwei bowed slightly to everyone and retreated into the inner hall. After 2 incense sticks of time, Mo Lingwei emerged again to announce the results. Fellow Taoist Tang Feng and fellow Taoist Duan Haishan, please stay. I must apologize to the rest. You may explore the island or choose to leave at your convenience. As she finished speaking, Tang Feng's face lit up with joy. Duan Haishan was initially taken aback, showing a hint of confusion, then donned a cheerful expression. The cultivators not selected sighed in disappointment and took their leave from Mo Lingwei. Qin Ming was equally surprised by the outcome. He couldn't grasp what Mo Lingwei was thinking, choosing Duan Haishan, a Tier 1 high-grade spirit plant master, over him. Given the situation, he could only bid farewell and depart. Wu Jiang was bewildered, puzzled, and confused. After bidding goodbye to Elder Mo, he quickly followed went after them. After arranging accommodations for Tang Feng and Duan Haishan, Elder Mo expressed his doubts. Why didn't the Patriarch heed our advice and choose fellow Taoist Qin? He is... Mo Lingwei frowned slightly, waving to interrupt him, then firmly said, "To lead the family forward, I have to be cautious and can't afford any mistakes. We know Tang Feng and Duan Haishan well. Their backgrounds are clear, and they have a good reputation in Vasi Immortal City. They're reliable and manageable. As for Qin Ming, honestly, I observed him in the hall for a long time, yet couldn't completely see through him. Moreover, a Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master is already beyond the scope of our control. It was our first meeting, and I had never heard of him before this. At least until I reached Foundation Establishment, having such a great god living nearby would bring me unease." Elder Mo then smiled assuredly. "The Patriarch is increasingly resembling the old Patriarch." Mo Lingwei responded with a faint smile, then a trace of melancholy flashed through her expression. Qin Ming and Wu Jiang left Qingxia Island, riding the spiritual light shuttle, flying towards the direction of Celestial River Market. On the way, fellow Taoist Qin, this Qingxia fairy, I really can't fathom what she's thinking. It's truly unexpected," Wu Jiang said to Qin Ming with some frustration. Qin Ming gave a faint smile. "No problem. Perhaps Fairy Mo has her own considerations. After all, I'm a stranger visiting suddenly. It's only natural for her to be cautious." Having said that, Qin Ming took a small bag of spirit stones from his storage pouch and handed it to Wu Jiang. "These past few days, I have troubled fellow Taoist Wu to introduce me to the local situation, and even went on a special trip. Please accept this token of appreciation." Well, since things didn't work out, how can I still accept Brother Qin's favor?" Wu Jiang's eyes were fixed on the spirit stone bag. He was quite discerning, knowing what to take and what not to take. At the same time, his impression of Qin Ming improved considerably. Qin Ming stuffed the spirit stones into Wu Zhang's hands and said, "Fellow Taoist Wu, don't be so polite. These spirit stones aren't given to you for nothing." Although the business on Qingxia Island didn't succeed this time, it doesn't mean that in the vast Spirit Nest Islands, there's no suitable spirit land to be found. Just tell me keep an eye out and inquire. If there's any news, notify me. I plan to stay in this area for a while. Upon hearing this, Wu Jiang then chuckled and swiftly accepted the spirit stone bag. Upon opening it, he saw there were a full 30 spirit stones inside. In that case, I will not stand on ceremony. Rest assured, fellow Taoist Qin, I will certainly help you inquire further. The two returned to Celestial River Market. Qin Ming intended to explore the market as it gathered many cultivators from Spirit Nest Islands. There might be some unexpected gains to be found. Wu Jiang took his leave and used his own channels to help gather information about other islands. Another half-month passed. Qin Ming still had nothing to show for it. He was studying a copy of the Spirit Feather Habitat geographic record. However, good news came from Wu Jiang's side. Truly worthy of being a local. So quickly he got hold of information about a spirit island. Qin Ming thought silently. Wu Jiang entered Qin Ming's room, his face brimming with excitement as he said, "Fellow Taoist Qin, there's good news. A few days ago, the 72-island loose alliance of the Spirit Nest Islands discovered a small, unclaimed island in the land of the far north, containing a Tier 2 middle-grade spirit vein. Currently, the only ones aware of this are the alliance members. It hasn't spread widely yet. The 72-island loose alliance is planning to conduct a public auction soon to decide its ownership." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming's eyes lit up with joy. "Truly, I live up to the task. It is indeed true." Wu Jiang chuckled, clearly showing the authenticity of the news. With a slight furrow of his brow, Qin Ming asked again, "And what kind of force is this 72-island loose alliance?" "It's not a major force, but rather a temporary alliance that has loosely been organized by some Qi cultivation clans and independent cultivator influences that occupy a small part of the Spirit Islands within Spirit Nest Islands. My Wu family is also among this organization. The main purpose is to form a standoff with the Zhao family, one of the 7 great families, to prevent them from being taken over and annexed one by one. Fortunately, over the decades, both sides have remained at peace, and no conflicts or chaos have occurred, so the situation remains relatively stable. Within the 72-island loose alliance, there are even feuds among members, and conflicts are quite common. But as long as we don't clash with the Zhao family, all is well." Qin Ming nodded. In other words, this loose alliance is just a patchwork formed by the small forces of Spirit Nest Islands to guard against the Zhao family. Fellow Taoist Qin, the auction for the Spirit Island will begin at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and any independent cultivator can participate. This time, the auction location is set directly on that Spirit Island. Tomorrow, I will take you there, fellow Taoist Qin. Qin Ming smiled with satisfaction and nodded. Thanks to fellow Taoist Wu for the effort. Although Wu Jiang's cultivation level is average, he exudes a certain spirit in his demeanor. Qin Ming also had some newfound respect for him. Hee. It's only right, after receiving fellow Taoist Qin's spirit stones, this little matter is nothing, Wu Jiang replied with a smile. The next day, with Wu Jiang leading the way, Qin Ming left Celestial River Market and flew towards the far north. After 2 hours, a pale yellow island appeared in their sight. In the surrounding sky, there were also many cultivators riding flying spiritual artifacts flying past them. It seemed they were all heading towards the Spirit Island. This Spirit Island resembled a yellow gem of transcendent beauty, embedded in the emerald waves of Wanghua Lake. Wanghua Lake's waters spread in endless emerald waves, merging sky and water, presenting picturesque scenery. On the Spirit Island, peculiar mountains and rocks stood with unique beauty. When Qin Ming and Wu Jiang arrived, there were already thousands of cultivators gathered on a clearing on the island, waiting for the auction to begin. However, most of these cultivators were just there to watch the excitement. After all, independent cultivators truly capable of winning the ownership of a spirit island were few in number. Upon arrival at the spirit island, Qin Ming noticed that compared to other islands, the vegetation here was much sparser. Perhaps it was because of its proximity to the Northern Territory, as the weather and environment were quite cold. Even on the highest peak to the north, a small glacier had taken shape. The overall area of the spirit island was even smaller than Qingxia Island. The rocks here all appeared in a yellowish hue, with steep and rugged mountains. The so-called Tier 2 middle-grade spirit vein was only concentrated within a range of several dozen acres around the main peak. The rest were branches of Tier 1 spirit vein and Tier 2 low-grade spirit vein. Moreover, there were no other islands nearby at all. If attacked, none of the other families of the Spirit Nest Islands would be able to come to rescue in time. This was complete isolation. With such a geographical environment and scattered spiritual veins, no wonder the 72 loose alliances decided to auction it. Otherwise, solely as a Tier 2 spirit vein island, it wouldn't be available for the loose cultivators below. Speaking of which, this spirit island was not as good as advertised. In fact, it was not even as good as some Tier 1 spirit islands in the central region of the Spirit Nest Islands. Its value significantly depreciated. However, as Qin Ming took his first step onto this island, he first grabbed a handful of spiritual soil and observed it. Instantly, dozens of Tier 2 spirit plants suitable for growing in this climate and soil appeared in his mind. 11 a.m. An old man in a golden robe, with crane-like hair and a child's face, appeared before everyone, emanating the mana fluctuation of the Foundation establishment stage. Ahem. Fellow Taoists, this old man is Lim Yuanqing, the Vice Alliance leader of the 72 Island Loose Alliance. Please, let's settle down. Now, the auction will officially begin. All fellow Taoists interested in participating in this auction, please step forward and take a seat at the chairs in front. While speaking, Lim Yuanqing channeled his mana, and his loud voice resounded across the entire spirit island. Complemented by the spiritual pressure of a great cultivator at the Foundation establishment stage, the thousands of Qi cultivation stage cultivators present instantly quieted down, daring not to speak further. Upon hearing this, Qin Ming glanced over and saw hundreds of chairs placed in the front near the open space. He turned back and nodded at Wu Jiang, then casually flew to land on one of the chairs. Then, many other cultivators interested in the island also successively landed in the chairs. The 72 loose alliances organized the auction without too many rules. After seeing that no more cultivators were joining, Lim Yuanqing immediately declared, "The Spirit Island auction begins. Once won, the ownership of this Spirit Island will be yours. The starting bid is 8,000 Spirit Stones, and each increment must be no less than 1,000 Spirit Stones." As soon as Lim Yuanqing spoke, quite a few cultivators hesitated. After all, among the loose cultivators, there were very few who had such financial resources. However, some families began to bid. "I bid 8,000 Spirit Stones. I'll bid 9,000, 10,000 Spirit Stones, 12,000, 15,000 Spirit Stones." The auction site was filled with a tense atmosphere. The atmosphere reached a climax. The onlookers were secretly amazed. As these bids were numbers they might need a long time to achieve. 18,000. 18,000 for the first time. 18,000 for the second time. Just when everyone thought the ownership of the island was about to reach a conclusion, 20,000, came a calm voice from a lean old man in the crowd. There was an uproar. Everyone focused their gaze on this person. Qin Ming was also helpless, not expecting the bidding for the Spirit Island to be so intense. He was contemplating whether to raise his bid. At that moment, a teasing voice came from the sky. "Oh, so lively here. Why wasn't my Zhao family informed?" The people on the island turned to look at the source of the sound. They saw more than 10 cultivators descending from the sky, all dressed in the white attire of the Zhao family. The person who had spoken was a young cultivator with a stern face, exuding the mana fluctuations of a Foundation establishment stage cultivator. Two Foundation Establishment stage elders followed closely by his side. Even Lim Yuanqing, standing at the center of the field, looked at these newcomers with a sullen expression. It's actually the ninth son of the Zhao family, Zhao Chanjin. Why has he come? People from the Zhao family? Could they be here to cause trouble? The Zhao family and our loose alliance have always been at peace for decades. Why today? Lim Yuanqing's face turned cold, and he raised an eyebrow, asking the Zhao family members in a cold voice, "What is young Master Zhao's intention here? Do you intend to interfere in the matters of our 72 loose alliances?" Zhao Chanjin faced the Foundation Establishment cultivator before him without any fear and said, "Since this spirit island is ownerless, can't our Zhao family participate in the bidding?" Elder Lim, this seems a bit unreasonable, doesn't it? Lim Yuanqing sneered upon hearing this. Your Zhao family is getting battered in the Yunzhou wilderness against the Spirit Feather Sect, and yet you have the time to bid for this insignificant spirit island. Hearing these words, Zhao Chanjin's face became difficult to look at, clearly somewhat rattled. The situation at the front lines is not something Elder Lim needs to worry about. Our Zhao family is here this time to definitely participate in the contest for the Spirit Island. To put it plainly, it is absolutely impossible to exclude our Zhao family. Clearly, the Zhao family stance was very firm. The two Foundation Establishment elders from the Zhao family also had a sharp glint in their eyes, staring intently at Lim Yuanqing. The scene instantly became filled with a strange atmosphere. Lim Yuanqing was also puzzled, wondering why the Zhao family was meddling for no apparent reason, and with such a firm attitude. It didn't seem worth it to fall out with the Zhao family over a low-value island and break the long-standing balance. He considered for a while and asked straightforwardly, "The current bid for the Spirit Island is already at 20,000 spirit stones. Is young Master Zhao going to raise the price?" Zhao Chanjin, seeing Lim Yuanqing relent a bit, slightly curled his lips. "I think the overall value of this island, when assessed, doesn't justify this price. The bidding should be conducted differently." Upon hearing these words, Lim Yuanqing's face twitched again as he asked in a deep voice, "How should it be conducted?" Zhao Chanjin immediately replied, "In the Cultivation Realm, strength is respected. Naturally, the truth should be revealed through a magic duel. Here's the proposal. Any cultivator present who can afford 10,000 spirit stones can participate in the contest for this spirit island. Life and death do not matter. Draw lots for the dueling. The final victor only needs to pay 10,000 spirit stones to claim ownership of the spirit island. Fair and impartial. The result will be recognized not only by your loose alliance, but also by our Zhao family. If someone doesn't have the strength to protect the island, what use is there in buying it?" Finished with his statement, Zhao Chanjin waited for a response from the loose alliance. His words, though appearing straightforward and logical, were essentially a ploy to pressure them and seize the island at minimal cost. Even with the spirit vein being scattered, it was still a tier 2. The members of the loose alliance were all from Qi cultivation clans. Without any Foundation Establishment cultivators, how could they compare with the deeply rooted Zhao family? The cultivators present began to discuss fervently. No one had expected such a turn of events. Lim Yuanqing's expression fluctuated as he turned around to discuss with several high-ranking members of the loose alliance. Moments later, Lim Yuanqing returned to the field and said to the Zhao family, "Deciding the ownership through a magic duel is not unacceptable. However, our loose alliance has 2 additional conditions. First, the cultivators participating in the duel should only be in the Qi cultivation stage, and the duels should be friendly, with no life-threatening injuries, or their participation will be voided. Second, the spirit stone payment should be increased to 15,000. Lim Yuanqing clearly saw through what the Zhao family was planning and directly increased the spirit stones by 5,000. In this way, even if the Zhao family seized the spirit island, the damage to the loose alliance would be minimal and within an acceptable range. Agreed. Zhao Chanjin conferred with the 2 elders for a moment and then nodded in agreement. Both sides had reached a consensus. Next, Lim Yuanxing ordered the chairs to be removed, leaving a larger open space in the center. All right, you've all heard it. Anyone interested in this island can step forward to sign up for the draw. I will preside over the duel as the judge, so you can be assured of safety. Just as Lim Yuanxing finished speaking, most of the cultivators who were bidding earlier promptly ran away. From a Zhao family side, Zhao Changjin surprisingly took to the field himself, and, at his presence, the faces of the many loose cultivators turned grim. Sigh, I didn't expect Zhao Changjin to take action himself. Fellow Daoist Qin, I advise you not to compete, Wu Jiang sighed, hesitating as he advised. Qin Ming furrowed his brow. Is there anything special about Zhao Changjin? This person is among the top of the Zhao family's young generation, highly talented in cultivation, and at a young age has already achieved qi cultivation perfection. It is said he has mastered the Zhao family's Qianyuan sword technique to a state of mastery. I don't mean to sound discouraging, but those loose cultivators who just signed up probably won't stand a chance against him, Wu Jiang explained. Qin Ming nodded upon hearing this. Yet, he was quite satisfied with this island, as it was perfect for him to cultivate alone. Finding another island wouldn't likely present a better option than this place. In just a moment, Qin Ming made up his mind. He could afford the 15,000 spirit stones. As for Zhao Changjin, how would he fare compared to those core disciples of the Spirit Feather Sect who had died at Qin's hands? Subsequently, under Wu Jiang's watchful gaze, Qin Ming walked into the field. Wu Jiang was momentarily stunned. Wait, did I not make myself clear? Qin Ming stepped forward to register, drew a lot, and then retreated to the outskirts to wait. There weren't many cultivators participating in the magic duel. Fewer than 20 cultivators were involved. These were all cultivators confident in their abilities, being late-stage qi cultivators and qi cultivation perfection cultivators. The others probably gave up the contest after seeing Zhao Changjin step into the field. After the lot drawing ended, the duels began immediately. A loose cultivator with the first draw took the stage to engage in the magic duel. In an instant, gorgeous magic flew amidst the field. The spectacle wowed the observing cultivators present. After all, dueling among late-stage qi cultivators was a rare sight for these low-level loose cultivators. The magic duel quickly reached a conclusion. Among the competing cultivators, one was actually a beast tamer who summoned a late-stage tier 1 Black Panther demon beast. Equating to a 2-against-1 scenario, it easily secured a victory in the duel. After 2 consecutive rounds, an unfortunate loose cultivator at the Qi Cultivation 9th layer drew against Zhao Changjin. He had his arms severed by a single sword strike and was kicked out of the field. Seeing such sharp sword techniques, the participating cultivators changed color. The subsequent loose cultivators who faced Zhao Changjin all invariably conceded. Qin Ming also stepped up twice, encountering late-stage qi cultivators both times. But enveloped by his divine thought comparable to the Foundation establishment stage, their magic was riddled with holes. He effortlessly cast several wood elemental basic spells to send them out of the field. As expected, the final deciding match came down to only Qin Ming and Zhao Changjin. Zhao Changjin's gaze was heavy as he looked at the ordinary-looking man standing opposite him, Qin Ming. A flash of vigilance passed over his cold, stern face. Truly, one cannot judge a book by its cover. Having watched Qin's 2 previous duels, he noted they were executed with ease and grace, using only basic spells to defeat opponents. It seemed the true skills hadn't even been displayed yet. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly reached a climax. Just when everyone thought a thrilling and heated battle was about to unfold, all of a sudden, Zhao Changjin's eye twitched unexpectedly, hesitating before saying, I concede. I forfeit. Why did he suddenly forfeit? What is Zhao Changjin up to? The cultivators present were all stunned. After Zhao Changjin finished speaking, with a sullen face, he walked off the stage without looking back. The 2 Foundation establishment elders of the Zhao family came over, frowned, and asked, Changjin, what exactly is going on? Damn, That kid has a thunder. As soon as Zhao Chanjin said this, even the two Foundation establishment elders couldn't hold it in. Not to mention him, even if they at the Foundation establishment stage were to face this thing, they would at least lose a layer of skin, if not die. Immediately, they looked at Qin Ming with an imperceptible hint of dread in their eyes. How could there be a thunder? Isn't this item a restricted resource of the Mirror Snow Pavilion? The two elders showed puzzled expressions. It's too late now. It wasn't mentioned that this item couldn't be used before the duel started. With that, Zhao Chanjin looked back deeply at Qin Ming, then quickly left with the Zhao family members. Lim Yuanqing also had a look of surprise on his face. He stepped forward, smiling at Qin Ming, and said, "Congratulations, friend Qin, on your victory and gaining ownership of the Spirit Island." He didn't expect to also curb the Zhao family's arrogance this time. After all, the other party's manner was rather overbearing. Then, Qin Ming paid 15,000 spirit stones and signed the spirit contract that Lim Yuanqing presented, which was stamped with the mana seal of both the 72 loose alliances and the Zhao family. This meant that from now on, this spirit island wholly belonged to Qin Ming. After the loose alliance registered everything, they asked Qin Ming, "Fellow Taoist Qin, now that this spirit island is yours, you can give it a name." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming pondered for a moment and replied, "Since it's on Wangyue Lake, let's call it Wangyue Island." The person responsible for the registration smiled and recorded the name of the island. With the spirit island having a new owner, the bidding event concluded. Those who had come to watch the excitement were quite disappointed and quickly left. Many loose cultivators also came over to extend their greetings and exchange a few words with Qin Ming. Qin Ming exchanged polite greetings with them and then saw them off. After everyone had left, "Congratulations, fellow Taoist Qin, on becoming the Wangyue Island Master." Wu Jiang walked over gleefully, cupped his hands, and sincerely congratulated him. He never expected that the passerby cultivator he met on the Dharma ship would rise to become an Island Master. What's more, the spirit vein environment of the Spirit Island is far superior to that of his family's. Qin Ming was in a good mood and laughed heartily, saying, "All thanks to the information fellow Taoist Wu provided. It was nothing. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Qin to be so powerful that even Zhao Chanjin had to admit defeat," Wu Jiang said admiringly. Then a thought struck him. "By the way, fellow Taoist Qin, now that you've acquired Wangyue Island, what do you plan to do next? For instance, building a cave mansion and developing spirit fields." Qin Ming guessed his intention and went along, saying, "I wonder if fellow Taoist Wu is available? I'm looking for someone to build a cave mansion on the island. If you know anyone, you could help me out. Of course, there will be due compensation for your effort, fellow Taoist Wu." Wu Zhang's eyes lit up upon hearing this, and he was overjoyed. He patted his chest and said, "Rest assured, fellow Taoist Qin, leave everything to me. I know quite a few skilled craftsmen in this field who will surely meet your satisfaction. However, up front, purchasing building materials will require some spirit stones. I'm not sure." Wu Jiang scratched his head, feeling a bit embarrassed. Qin Ming asked, "How many spirit stones do you need?" "About 500 spirit stones, and I will give back any excess." Wu Jiang raised 5 fingers as he said this. Qin Ming immediately took out 500 spirit stones from his storage pouch and handed them to him. After taking the job, Wu Jiang went off in a hurry to recruit workers. Qin Ming had also thought it through. Since he planned to farm here long-term, planting his life-bound spirit plant, and cultivating the ancient with longevity technique, he might as well refurbish the cave mansion on the island. After all, Qin Ming had other matters to prepare for. The urgent task at hand was to purchase a set of defense array. Secondly, to buy spirit seeds for the spirit grass, spirit rice that he planned to plant, and spirit plant seedlings. Qin Ming evaluated the overall environment of the spirit island. He had already decided which spirit plants to cultivate. Additionally, he needed to find a secret technique to refine a heaven and earth spirit fire and tame and refine that blue flame he obtained from the ancient ruins. After all, without the earth, fire, and alchemy room now. How Qin Ming would conduct alchemy in the future remained a challenge. If he could tame and refine that Tier 2 heaven and earth spirit fire, he would make significant progress on the alchemy Dao path. Perhaps he might even break through to become a Tier 2 alchemist master. After reaching Qi cultivation perfection, if he couldn't purchase a foundation establishment pill, if worst comes to worst, he might try gathering materials to refine a foundation establishment pill himself. The pill formula for foundation establishment pills is not hard to obtain. Moreover, he knew that there was more than one pill formula for the foundation establishment pill. The difficulty lies in the main materials it requires and the rare auxiliary materials, which are monopolized by major sect influences. Loose cultivators find it hard to gather them all. This strategic resource, the foundation establishment pill, is not something sects and families would easily circulate. In the vast sea immortal city, foundation establishment pills are occasionally auctioned at large auctions, facing fierce competition from various powers, making it hard to obtain. Even if one successfully bids, it's still too high profile in front of everyone's eyes. Whether one can safely retreat with it remains a big question. A year ago, Qin Ming discussed the issue of foundation establishment pills with Guqing Zhao and learned that he couldn't get them from her either. The foundation establishment pill she used back then was directly bestowed by the Mirror Snow Pavilion headquarters. An hour later, Qin Ming drove the spiritual light shuttle to the Celestial River Market once again. This market also had a branch of the Mirror Snow Pavilion. He stepped into a quaintly decorated shop. All were 9 floors. "Greetings, Taoist friend. Welcome to our store. Are you here for a meal or need to purchase cultivation resources?" A middle-aged female cultivator with a voluptuous figure and a composed demeanor, upon seeing a guest enter, offered a professional smile and welcomed Qin Ming inside the store. Qin Ming nodded and got straight to the point. "I'd like to purchase a set of Tier 2 protection array and a batch of spirit seeds for Tier 2 spirit plants. Specifically, spirit nesting rice, purple gold bamboo, and spirit gathering tea." The middle-aged woman was initially surprised upon hearing this, then quickly calmed down. Since the person was asking about Tier 2 spirit seeds, he must undoubtedly be a Tier 2 spirit plant master. She hurriedly and respectfully invited Qin Ming into a private room on the 4th floor, then asked, "May I know your esteemed last name? Taoist friend? Do you have a VIP status with our pavilion?" "I am surnamed Qin. It's like this, fellow Taoist Qin. For resources above Tier 2, I need to apply for approval from the upper management." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming directly handed over the honorary guest elder identity token given to him by Guqing Zhao. The middle-aged woman took a look at the jade token, and her face showed a trace of solemnity. She quickly said, "So it's Qin, honored guest elder. My apologies for any disrespect. Since you are an honorary guest elder of our pavilion, there won't be any issue. All resources will be prioritized for supply. However, the spirit seeds and seedlings for spirit gathering tea and purple gold bamboo can be procured from our pavilion. But as for the spirit seeds of spirit nesting rice, there hasn't been any stock available from above for quite some time." Qin Ming was momentarily stunned. He hadn't expected that even Mirror Snow Pavilion couldn't obtain the spirit nesting rice seeds. "It's fine. Just trouble the shopkeeper to help me gather the other items. I'll find another way for the spirit nesting rice." The middle-aged woman smiled slightly, nodded, and then asked, "May I know what requirements Qin honored guest elder has for the Tier 2 defense array?" The Tier 2 low-grade defense array sold by our pavilion starts at 5,000 spirit stones per set. The Tier 2 middle-grade defense array, which can block attacks from a mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator, starts at 8,000 spirit stones. The Tier 2 high-grade defense array, capable of withstanding a full force attack from a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator, starts at 10,000 spirit stones. Of course, Qin honored guest elder enjoys a 20% discount on purchases here at our pavilion. Qin Ming pondered briefly before immediately saying, "I want a set of the Tier 2 high-grade defense array, and I want the best." Security is of utmost importance, so naturally, he would invest heavily in it. On this matter, Qin Ming would not be stingy with spirit stones. The middle-aged woman was delighted and readily agreed. This month's sales are going to rise significantly. Rest assured, Qin honored guest elder. Everything will be arranged to your satisfaction. However, these resources need to be dispatched from a higher-level warehouse. As an honored guest elder, you don't have to go through any formalities. But it will take some days for the goods to arrive here, about 3 days or so, she patiently explained. Qin Ming nodded. No problem, I'll be in the market these few days. Just send me a communication when the items arrive. Subsequently, he asked, I wonder if your pavilion has any secret techniques for refining the heaven and earth spirit fire for sale. I'm afraid such secret techniques are usually not publicly transmitted and won't easily circulate outside, so our pavilion doesn't have them either. The middle-aged woman appeared surprised. After the conversation ended, Qin Ming left the shop, escorted respectfully by the shopkeeper. He went around other places in the market, continuing to inquire about spirit nesting rice and secret techniques for refining spirit fire. But after 3 consecutive days, he still gained nothing. If it really doesn't work, I'll have to choose to plant other spirit plants instead, Qin Ming said somewhat regretfully. Ever since he learned about this kind of spirit rice from Guqin Zhao, he had hoped to cultivate it. At the same time, he received a communication talisman from the shopkeeper. It seemed that the items he had ordered had arrived. Qin Ming went to Mirror Snow Pavilion again, paid the spirit stones, and received the Tier 2 high-grade defense array, spirit gathering tea, and young purple gold bamboo. His spirit stone bag significantly thinned out. However, Qin Ming believed he would soon earn it back. The Tier 2 middle-grade spirit plant, spirit gathering tea, is an extremely rare type of spirit tea. While it can increase mana, it can also slightly enhance a cultivator's divine sense. Even just an ounce of the tea leaves is immensely valuable. The Tier 2 middle-grade spirit plant, purple gold bamboo, is the primary material for crafting top-grade spiritual artifacts, and its value is self-evident. When Qin Ming returned to Wangware Island, he saw Wu Jiang commanding a group of skilled craftsmen to construct cave mansions and build pavilions and terraces on the main peak. He himself took on the role of supervisor, working very efficiently. Qin Ming, now the lord of an island, also lacked such a right-hand person in his daily affairs. Wu Jiang seemed quite decent at the moment. However, he planned to observe further before making any decisions. Fellow Taoist Qin, you're back. I've done as you instructed, ordering the construction of the cave mansion in as simple a style as possible. The entire project is estimated to take only about half a month. Wu Jiang ran up eagerly, smiling. Qin Ming nodded with a smile, very satisfied with such efficiency. He then thought of something. Fellow Taoist Wu, may I ask you something? Do you know where I might obtain spirit nesting rice seeds? Wu Jiang was surprised when he heard this, then responded, Fellow Taoist Qin, you must be thinking of cultivating spirit nesting rice, right? Qin Ming nodded, originally not holding too much hope. To be honest, other people might not give you any results if you ask them. But since you're asking me, there's indeed some potential here, Wu Jiang said with a mysterious smile, continuing, Fellow Taoist Qin, do you remember Qingxia Fairy and Mo Ling Wei? Her ancestor was a Tier 2 spirit plant master, and she was also the only cultivator in the Spirit Nest Islands to successfully cultivate spirit nesting rice. Although after that spirit plant master passed away, no one could cultivate spirit nesting rice again. But I dare say, the Mo family surely has some spirit nesting rice seeds in storage, though for specific details, I'm afraid fellow Taoist Qin will have to discuss with her directly. Qin Ming's spirits were lifted after hearing this. He hadn't expected that there was nothing this guy didn't know. He immediately praised him a few words. However, he planned to handle the matter of the cave mansion first before visiting Mo Ling Wei. Half a month later, the construction of the cave mansions on Wangwei Island was completed, with various pavilions and terraces complementing them. It truly looked like a proper spirit island. Qin Ming stood in the pavilion at the highest point of the main peak, looking into the distance. The snow-capped peaks stood towering, and green slopes and dark forests stretched below. On one side were verdant mountains, on the other, a serene, rippling lake. Looking down, the lake's broad and deep surface shimmered with a sapphire hue, as a few waterfowl drifted leisurely by, leaving white, elongated ripples behind them. The breathtaking scenery was utterly enchanting, as if one were in a land of immortals. Qin Ming had Wu Jiang settle the spirit stones with the workers, and handed him an additional 100 spirit stones as payment. All the running around these days hadn't been easy, and he had provided quite a bit of useful information as well. Wu Jiang was deeply moved as he accepted the spirit stones. After the cave mansion's completion, Qin Ming immediately set down a Tier 2 high-grade defense array within the range of the main peak. Thus, unless a golden core ancestor arrived, no one could threaten him. The sense of security was greatly enhanced. With everything in place, he could now peacefully focus on his cultivation grounds. Qin Ming picked a day and sent Wu Jiang to Vast Sea Immortal City to deliver an invitation to Guqing Zhao of Mirror Snow Pavilion, inviting her and shopkeeper Liao to visit the island and find their way around. It was also a sort of housewarming celebration. The communication talisman's range was always limited, and Qin Ming was busy opening up the several tens of acres of Tier 2 spirit field at the base of the main peak. He had no choice but to ask Wu Jiang to handle the delivery. Upon hearing that the task involved delivering an invitation to major figures at Mirror Snow Pavilion, Wu Jiang immediately dashed off without even asking for a delivery fee. 2 days later, Guqing Zhao and shopkeeper Liao arrived at Wanwet Island upon the invitation. Their first reaction upon entering the island was to be captivated by the exquisite scenery. Qin Ming deactivated the array restriction and welcomed the two into the cave mansion. Fellow Taoist Qin, this is truly enviable. Without a word, you've become the lord of an island. With surroundings like this, I don't want to leave, huh? Congratulations, congratulations. Shopkeeper Liao said, presenting a small gift they had prepared. Qin Ming gratefully accepted it. His aim in inviting Guqing Zhao to the island, of course, wasn't just to eat and drink. After a few rounds of drinks, Qin Ming opened up, fellow Taoist Go, could you help me keep an eye out for materials to refine a foundation establishment pill? Even auxiliary materials are fine, or perhaps spirit plant seeds. Guqing Zhao raised her wine cup and smiled gently. Since fellow Taoist Qin has asked, there won't be any problem. I'll have someone collect as much as possible. Thank you very much. I will purchase everything you can find, as much as there is. Qin Ming raised his cup to toast Guqing Zhao, tilting his head back to drink. As for Qin Ming's foundation establishment pill formula, it was sent back by Su Yuqing through Mirror Snow Pavilion not long ago, with a letter that began by thanking Qin Ming for giving him those 5 top-grade divine essence fruits. He generously praised him in return. Then, he briefly mentioned his recent situation in the Great Jin Immortal Dynasty. He informed Qin Ming that he had successfully established his foundation and broken through to become a Tier 2 alchemist master. At the end of the letter, he included insights on refining foundation establishment pills, as well as a mainstream pill formula. In addition, there were 2 formulas to refine pills that increase foundation establishment stage cultivation. Could it be? Fellow Taoist Qin wants to refine the foundation establishment pills himself. Shopkeeper Liao said with a shocked expression. Qin Ming could only smile wryly. There's no other way. As a poor loose cultivator like myself, it's simply impossible to get foundation establishment pills through other means. I'll have no choice but to try refining them myself. Well, I'm not very confident. Guqing Zhao was also deeply impressed by his bold idea. Fellow Taoist Qin, you must think carefully. The materials and spirit stones needed to refine foundation establishment pills are vastly expensive. However, I believe with fellow Taoist Qin's talent in the alchemy Tao, it might not be impossible. Ever since Guqing Zhao met Qin Ming, he had repeatedly overturned her understanding. So, she also felt that Qin Ming might truly succeed. If Qin Ming manages to break through to Tier 2 alchemist and is capable of refining foundation establishment pills, the benefits for Mirror Snow Pavilion would be self-evident. Gu Qingzhao took a small sip of spirit wine, her beautiful eyes sparkling as she said, "By the way, I heard from Aunt Long that you purchased spirit gathering tea and purple gold bamboo seedlings from her." Qin Ming was taken aback. It turned out that the shopkeeper woman at Mirror Snow Pavilion in Celestial River Market was called Aunt Long. "That's correct. I plan to cultivate these 2 spirit plants." Qin Ming nodded. "Then, when the spirit plants mature, could you sell me a portion?" "Of course, no problem." Gu Qingzhao's expression was one of joy. Then she recalled something, saying regretfully, "I've also heard about fellow Taoist Qin's attempt to purchase spirit nesting rice. But this rice is indeed hard to find nowadays." "No worries. I've already learned of some clues from fellow Taoist Wu," Qin Ming said nonchalantly. "Oh, that's excellent." Gu Qingzhao was also a bit surprised, smiling slightly. Qin Ming's plan was to, besides asking Gu Qingzhao to help gather materials for refining foundation establishment pills, Qin Ming also intended to search on his own. As the saying goes, walking on 2 legs always goes faster, because he needed to prepare multiple sets of materials all at once. After all, there was no guarantee he would succeed on the first try. Qin Ming's cooperation with Mirror Snow Pavilion was indeed very close and reliable. So, asking Gu Qingzhao to gather materials, he was quite assured. "By the way, I have some important news to share with fellow Taoist Qin," Gu Qingzhao suddenly said. Upon hearing this, Qin Ming became attentive, knowing that the other party was about to inform him of the latest happenings among the upper echelons of the Cultivation Realm. "Fellow Taoist Gu, please go ahead." "The current situation is that the next phase of the competition between the Spirit Feather Sect and Thunder Origin Sect has begun, and currently 3 major families and several minor influences among the 7 great powers have completely pledged allegiance to the Spirit Feather Sect." "What? Weren't the 7 great powers the lackeys of Thunder Origin Sect? How could they switch sides so unexpectedly?" Qin Ming was stunned upon hearing the news. Gu Qingzhao's eyebrows furrowed slightly as she said, "This is related to the new golden core Yuan Hong from Spirit Feather Sect. Having a celestial spirit roots core formation is naturally extraordinary. If I'm not mistaken, Yuan Hong's golden core quality and power far exceed cultivators of the same tier. I've even heard that Yuan Hong fought to a draw with the long-existing golden core ancestor of Thunder Origin Sect. In the cultivation realm of Wei Country, between 2 overlord-level influences, only one can dominate, and sooner or later they will determine who stands supreme. Moreover, another thing, the Zhao family among the 7 great powers has also chosen to support Spirit Feather Sect." Qin Ming was truly amazed by all he heard. The situation had once more taken an unexpected turn. The clash between sects at the Golden Core level, for someone like him to be swept into, would quickly result in being reduced to ashes. Fortunately, he had escaped just in time. Gu Qingzhao continued to say, "Additionally, there's another piece of news. After the ancient ruins of Yinhuang Marsh were opened, the inheritance within was seized by the demonic cultivator Lin Zixiao. And in a brief period, he broke through to the late-stage foundation establishment realm. Not only has his cultivation significantly advanced, but his demonic techniques are unimaginably fierce and unparalleled among foundation establishment cultivators. Currently, he is showing signs of becoming a demonic hero. However, I've heard that before Lin Zixiao's breakthrough, he seemed to be hunting 2 foundation establishment elders from Spirit Feather Sect and Divine Herbal Sect. Those 2 foundation establishment elders also perished without a trace in that confrontation. Later, Lin Zixiao was severely injured and remained hidden for quite some time. When he reappeared, he was already at the late-stage foundation establishment level. Qin Ming listened without showing any sign of disturbance. He listened attentively as if it had nothing to do with him. Yet, hearing Lin Zixiao had broken through to late-stage foundation establishment was indeed surprising. It seems that the last black barrier opened in the Relics Herb Garden by Lin Zixiao must be some extraordinarily powerful demonic inheritance. After Qin Ming and Gu Qingzhao discussed their future cooperation for half a day, Gu Qingzhao and shopkeeper Liao took their leave. Afterward, Qin Ming summoned Wu Jiang and likewise instructed him to search for some auxiliary materials for refining foundation establishment pills. Because refining foundation establishment pills requires more than 30 auxiliary ingredients. Besides a few rare ones, some of the auxiliary materials are interchangeable with other Tier 2 pills. They might appear on the market, so Qin Ming instructed him to send a message if he found any. Wu Jiang took the list Qin Ming gave him, scratching his head, not understanding what Qin Ming intended to do with all these herbs. After figuring it out, he quickly went off to do his task. Then, Qin Ming took out